Hi, Paula.
Hi.
She's not. She had the other. Hi, Sue's like, oh, Paula's not coming. I'm like, no, they had the car the other day, but normally you don't have it, right? Yeah. So
No,
that's
I
kind
would
of
love to
the
come in person. If I have the chance to come again, I'll come.
she was living being in person, but her husband has the car, and the other day he had come home early or something. That's why she came. But yeah. So what was your solution to your applications, though, Paula?
I I don't know, maybe I had to update my Mac. So like I was waiting, like there was an update that they were asking me to do it for a long time. So I updated my whole computer and then I was able to download the apps. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah. No, that's yes. For Photoshop, you need the newer version, so that's good. Hi,
Yeah.
Mike. All right,
So
so now it's working. So now you have Photoshop on your computer and Bridge on your computer.
yes, I'm
Cool.
happy.
And did you download the class files onto your computer?
Yes,
You
to
have them
Bridge. Yes, I downloaded and I added them on Bridge
on
and I
Bridge.
catch up on last classes that I missed.
Oh,
So
great. So you're
now
all set up.
I'm,
I saw all the work you did in the chat.
yeah, I
So
still
that's
had to review a little bit of mask, but I didn't have the time.
yeah,
So
no, well, that's fine. That's part of the fact that you even did that. It's more than lots do, so that's great. Let me put the in the chat. Let's go ahead and say, is it good afternoon or good evening at this point? What is it at? Or good evening. I said both. And then let me paste the link to the Padlet. That way it's already there. Hi, Shamuel. Nice to see
Hello.
you guys. So I opened a little bit earlier, although right now it is 5:10, so hopefully people will pop in. It's interesting because I have my other computer, my personal computer here with me today, and I have it upgraded to the latest Photoshop, and I'm trying to compare what version one is from the one that the school has. So I have 2611, and school has 2610, so they're only one update behind. So that means that they are updating the school computers um, relatively quickly, so to say, which I wasn't sure if that's what they had been doing, but that's good to know. So that's great. So now I'm going to hope that a couple more people come in while we're talking. Meanwhile, hi, Rebecca. So I saw that both Rebecca and Paula posted, no, not Rebecca, Rebecca too, Rebecca, Paula, and Moni posted some work that you guys did over the week. So thank you. It makes me so happy to have people do work. Now, especially Wednesday through Monday. Now, today's Monday through Wednesday. Sometimes it's a bit harder to get anything done, but even if it's just one quick little mask, just one little something, it helps. But definitely from Wednesday to Monday, I kind of expect more work, you know. Anyway, so any questions about anything that we were doing that you want to bring up? I'm just trying not to share my screen until people have joined because it's kind of weird to join in the middle of a share. But anyway, most people are here. Hi, Eric. Nice to see you. Let me go ahead and share the Padlet, and I'm going to give you again the Padlet post for those of you who are home can connect. Oh, I see that, Mike. Okay, got it. No problem, but thank you. Thanks for showing up. Say hi to your daughter. All these, if my kids are here right now, but the day they leave home and they come back, everything will go by the wayside. So I totally get it.
Exactly.
There's clearly priorities in life, clearly, especially the class can be recorded. So anyway, enjoy your kids. So I just wanted to point out Moni isn't here yet, so I won't open Moni's yet, but this is Moni's work that she put in. Paula caught up to all the latest assignments, but she also did one new one with her own image. So I'm going to open that one. And so this is a screenshot of where what you did was keep some parts of the picture black and white and some colored. So I don't see the layers, right? We don't have the layers there. But it occurs to me that you put black and white on this portion right there. Is that what you did? Or the tree?
No, no, I played with the lightness.
So not with the black and white, but with light.
No.
Oh, like the saturation.
Yeah, I
Ah,
put like the lightness all the way to the right.
okay.
And then it just like it lost the color of some I
Okay.
thought
So like you chose green, for example, and
yes.
you worked with lightness. Okay. I was trying to see which one you had done because I
It
thought
was
maybe you
just
had chosen a black and white layer with a mask. So this isn't
no.
masking. This is using the adjust colors. Got it.
Yes, just the hue saturation.
So you chose a particular color like the greens. Kind of
Yes.
seeing here that this used to be probably a pretty dark brown or dark green,
Yes.
and you made it really dark or really light. Okay.
Yeah, the
Of all tools that I was gonna say in the adjust saturation, hue saturation colors, the only one I personally don't like playing is with the lightness too much. No,
okay.
but it's just because it either makes everything white or black, like black as in it has no detail. And so what I'm seeing here is this didn't become black and white. It became so dark because you changed the lightness that some of the parts lose their quality completely.
Mhm,
This is like black, black, black.
mhm.
And then you begin to see some of it up here, right?
Got
So
it.
in fact, it's not like it's lost its color. In fact, it is a little bit green in the lighter parts of it. You can see some green left. It's just that it became really, really dark. Got it.
Okay.
Now I know what you did. And then this was probably a lighter green and it became dark. But did you do it with a brush? Because this
No.
part went dark and this part stayed light, or is it just that this was very light
No,
color?
I think I selected like because
The
the
dark green.
background of the image was red
Okay. Yeah, here I see
and
it.
the
Yeah, yeah.
tigers, yeah, and the tigers were like orange. So I put everything on like lightness
Ah,
and then it became kind of like everything white. And
got it.
then the other colors they were kept, so I just made it a little bit more green, for example. So
So you can see here where she's saying that the background of the tiger and all this was red, and then it turned into this grayish white over there. You see that? So you can kind of see the changes happening right here. And then here's where the gray, the green and the darker green, I guess, went into lighter. It's like
yeah,
that went into that color right
yeah.
there. Okay. So if you look at this area where I'm pointing, you can kind of have an idea of what parts happened. In the past, if you had showed me the layers, I could see the different versions, but now it's all happening inside of this one little app. And the only place you can see it is when you see a
Mhm.
dot under a color, that color was changed. But we don't
Yeah,
see the details of how it was changed in the sense that if you now, this product did create a hue saturation layer over here. Okay.
mm.
So
I,
if you were to see the hue saturation layer and double click it from there, then you can keep working and adjusting the different parts and pieces individually.
yeah, I had a problem on visualizing things when I downloaded the app. Like it kind of everything it's like in the wrong place, and
Yeah.
I wasn't able to kind of like do it as I was using
Well,
NVDI.
I'm just so glad you got it downloaded. So Paula's been trying for the last couple of weeks to get it all set up, and now she finally has it all set up on her computer instead of using VDI. So now whenever we open up Photoshop, you can equalize yours to ours, to the one I'm showing. But that's great. Thank you for playing around with that tool. That's
So
really good.
Diana, you would recommend if I wanted to keep some parts black and white and some parts color, you would recommend using the mask instead of
Well, I would have preferred, yes. Let me, as I let people in, let me give an example. For example, I don't know, let's keep going with the one that I've been using because it's an easy example here because there's so much color. What if, let me just say that, for example, the ball didn't exist, right? So, and just in this
I only
example,
see
say
the
we have a,
Padlet.
oh, let me share. Thank you for saying that. Remind me always what you're seeing or not. Hi, Tatiana. Thanks for joining. let me open this up again. So I'm just going to give a little example based on Paula's question, based on the work that she did. So I just opened the chameleon for a second. Let me hide the ball. Like I don't, not even hide it. But say that this was a, so let me just back up for a second. In Padlet, she took color away from an image using the adjust colors by bringing down the lightness of a color. Okay. And so it turned into this grayish thing, which kind of works for back there. But then on the tree, you ended up having areas that are what I call clipped. They're just pure black. So it didn't really turn it into black and white. So how you could do that, there's two ways to turn things black and white. One is simply in that same adjust colors. Say that I had used yours adjust colors. There's another tool, but say I had used adjust colors, right? I can go to the green or the pink or the gray or the whatever. So let me just assume I'll go into the pink. I'm going to go into the pink over here. You use lightness, and lightness doesn't really take away color, but it does change it into this weird kind of thing, right? So it's not very clear. Say that it was the chameleon and I did that. Just makes it kind of darker and lighter. So in your tree, it was so dark already that it got black. So if you really want to take color away using this tool, what you need to do is eliminate the saturation. So I'm going to go to the pink and eliminate your saturation, and to the green and reduce saturation. So you're basically, I have to go, I wouldn't do it this way, but if you were to do it this way, by eliminating saturation, you'll get to the point where every single thing has no color, which means it's all pure gray. Everything has gone gray now to every one of the colors. Now you did it to only a portion. So say that I bring the saturation back on the pink. Then so now I have a pink background with a gray chameleon. And does that make sense? So the saturation, it would be the right way. But to say the truth, I wouldn't do it this way either. Let me just get rid of that. If you want a part of the image to be black and white, an ideal way, and we began doing masks last week. So in this case, say what would be the best way to mask this chameleon right now if I were to do it quickly? Just with the tools that you see in front of you, what would you choose? Any ideas out there, everybody? This is for everyone. This isn't just for Paula. This is a class thing.
Either remove the background.
Okay, so Sue over here in class is saying quick select tool. Great. What else? Rebecca said remove the background, but I don't want to remove the background. I just want to select the chameleon. So nope.
Select subject.
Yeah. Select subject right next to remove background, right? So yes, by the way, I could have used what Sue mentioned, which is the quick select. That would have been a good idea. Or this is a very clear subject matter. Sometimes we don't know what's the subject, but this one is. So if I click select subject, then without removing the background, my subject has been selected. You see that? At which point, then I would do a hue saturation black and white. And then I turn the chameleon into black and white. But since I selected it first, it's not the whole image, it's just the chameleon. Now, in your case, though, the tree wasn't it's doing that thing where I have to reset each time. I hate it. It makes me reset the share. But anyway, in your case, the image that you shared, I opened the wrong thing. In this one, you wouldn't have select subject be an easy, like the computer wouldn't know what to select here. Does that make sense? Because what is really the subject in this image? It's not the chameleon, boom, no question, that's the subject. But would it choose the tiger? Would it choose the tree? Would it choose nothing? And in fact, you might notice in the contextual sidebar, if there's nothing that seems very clearly subject, the choice might not even exist. Just saying, because it's contextual, right? It depends on what's there. But in that case, you would do maybe what Sue recommended, which is to choose the quick select tool and then select it yourself, which is kind of what we did last week. We went and marked the parts that we wanted to be selected, and that's how we did that. Or, and then the last choice would be, go back to Photoshop, and it wouldn't be a very good job with this chameleon. I mean, I'm just deleting it in the sense that this chameleon is very, very hard to do by hand. But if this were that tree, you could say black and white, make the whole thing black and white, right? And then you go into the mask with a brush, and then you decide to bring back. So I'm going to make this brush much bigger, and I'm going to start painting black. Oh, I need to make sure I'm at 100%. Yeah. And then I start painting back, right? The stuff that I did not want to turn black. Now, that is definitely not the right choice here, because how are you going to get into all, the moment I start touching, I start getting, it's a hard, but see what I mean? So in your case, you could have made everything black and white and then just brought in with the mask the stuff that was not supposed to be black and white. Or, and this is the part that I'm going to just, this is our review, so that's why I'm explaining this all to everyone. There's just different ways of doing all these things, right? Or I'm going to go back to the mask. Sorry. And I'm going to, I've made it all black again. And I'm going to invert it. Remember about inverting? I make it all black, so all the color comes back again. And then what I do is I start bringing back the color that's just on, like just make chameleon gray. So that's 3 different ways to get to the same solution, right? So which one is better is always depending on your image and which image you're targeting and which makes more sense. Right now I have such a big brush that I'm not really getting only a chameleon, I'm also getting the background, but you get the idea, right? You can either do whichever is the easiest. You always have to choose. Is it easier to bring back all the pink, or is it easier to just bring back the chameleon? So you just invert it and then tackle the easiest one. I think that painting back the chameleon is virtually impossible. I think you need the quick select tool to help you get all those tiny little things in there. You would not be able with a brush to go in and out unless you take, 3 hours. Of course you can do that, but who wants to do that for 3 hours? Does that make sense? So yes, probably a good solution would be to go like you did to the adjust mask and just deal with the greens, because that's the only thing that the chameleon is so green and the background is so pink that there's probably no overlap, and it's easy to just turn all your grays into to turn all your grays into color. So I'm going to go to hue saturation. I'm going to choose all my greens, for example. And here, this is not the colors of my image. It's just the default. So let me just show you the different. Up here, I'm getting like the main green colors. If I were to grab green and delete the saturation in the green, it's grabbing some of the green, but not everything, because there's probably some yellow in there. So if I go to prominent colors, then I get the greens of my image. Then I get the same tool that I had down there. And then I can choose all 3 greens and just start desaturating that green, desaturate this green, and desaturate that green. And then hopefully that takes care of most of the greens. If the cricket was green, it's now yellow. I don't remember if the cricket was green, and we lost some green from the cricket, but the rest stayed in color. So without a mask, that is not a bad idea. Okay. So let me head back to, so thanks for doing that. There's so much learning every time you guys share something. There's so much more that I can share with you. So I really appreciate that. And for those of you who are right while I was helping or talking with about Tatiana's image, let me send the Padlet to everyone again. There we go. And the next one was Rebecca. So Rebecca here, oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Hold on. Hold on. I need to share my screen. Here we go. So I'm in the Padlet, and here's Rebecca. And this is a hard one to decide on, because she has this image and she wants to get rid of this thing here. Probably a person with their backpack, and maybe even the sides of another person over there. Her question here has to do with, what was this message? The profile, color profile is different than the color profile. In this case, saying okay is fine, and it has to do with the way that camera, whatever camera took that picture, was set in a profile that's different than the one that your Photoshop or Camera Raw filter is in. We haven't taught color profiles at this point. To an answer like that, just say, okay, it's not a big deal in this case. So you said, okay. And then you proceeded to do the job.
No, I didn't do
This-
okay. I just did that in Photoshop and found that removing them and try to do it in one fell swoop made a
So
big
how,
mess.
in
This
what,
is a little mess.
I'm seeing like a ton of different remove
Right.
tool edits, like 14, but you've got one on top of the other. And let me just explain. I needed to ask you about this one. So that's why I decided to open it.
Mhm.
Each one was progressively a bit better. So you left all of them, or instead of
I
replacing them?
I started at the top with the guy at the top and removed him. He went off easily.
Okay.
And then I found if I
So
tried to do
that
it
guy.
all at once, yeah,
You first took that and that worked. So when you tried to do all at once, it was a disaster,
a
probably. Yeah.
totally disaster.
So guys, why would it be a disaster? When it's one thing if I had to get rid of a bear that's down here eating salmon, it would have been really easy. But the things that are hard are things that are on edges, or in particular, things that are on edges related to your image, right?
Yeah, so I
And
got
so
big
in this
black
case,
areas.
if you select this stuff, it would have not really known much what to do, in part because there's not enough information. If this is the whole shot, it's kind of hard, I think, for Photoshop to really understand that this is a hat attached to a head. I don't know that their artificial intelligence would be enough to really figure that out in front of a creek. So then it wouldn't know what to even begin to replace, right? But what you're saying is you did this piece first, then it was like, okay, I'm going to put some green in there. So that kind of worked. And then what did it take to get that?
Well, it took the rest of the times I
You
removed the hat.
kept doing it, kept doing it, kept doing it
Yeah,
on top of each other until
yeah,
you got to, sorry,
14
to that
versions.
right there.
And
Which, by the way, all of this is not bad, but the last piece right here
yeah, it got
is what's
weird.
bad. You see that?
That doesn't look like natural plant.
It's like, it's weird. But also because there's a little extension of purple coming from that. It was, the backpack was purple. So there's still a
Right.
little bit left in there because Photoshop does have a hard time with these things that are right on the edge of your subject matter. So one solution that I would suggest is to, I'm wondering if we should do it here all together. This is a good example. This is a good example for that. Would you mind emailing me this image and then I'll email it to everyone? Because this is a good example of when you would use a second layer on top of your remove. This might be actually a really good example. I was looking for an example of mine and I couldn't find one. There's a tool I wanted to, so if you're okay with everyone working on it and you email it to me, I'm going to show you a trick to something like this. And again, it's not about this photo, any photo. You have a person in front of a big tree and the remove isn't working well. I'm going to show you a good trick. Okay.
Now, how do I email? Because I've tried that with a waterfall and I didn't do it right.
No, it worked what you did with the waterfall. It's just that it didn't email with the waterfall effect, but in a regular email will, a regular photo will email just fine.
Okay.
You had made a little animation on it that just the animation effect wasn't emailing, but I got the photo. So it should work.
Okay.
So I'm going to, once I get it here, I will send it to you guys. But meanwhile, I wanted to appreciate that everyone did try stuff and work on stuff. Moni is not here right now. I'm going to just open the one that she did and show you it because, again, it's a good example of, let me go up, maybe I can go a little bit bigger here. She started with a very busy photograph, okay? And then she tried to use generative AI and she did it in Camera Raw remove. So she has the snapshots of the different times that she did it. And she ended up with this version, which she says it removed nearly everything except the girl and the cookie box. It resulted in strange wall colors, she's saying, like a weird. I don't know if she gave it a prompt or if she just said remove. If she probably just said remove, I think that the prompt needs to be given in in Photoshop, not in Camera Raw. I don't remember. We didn't use prompts the other day in Camera Raw. We just did remove. So definitely not real looking nor a picture I want, but that wasn't the goal. She was just trying. I'd say that for something automatic that cut out all of this hair from this really busy background, you see that? And gave us this final result, that's not bad at all. But yeah, it's fake. The computer didn't know what to invent and invented a wall. But if you just wanted to focus on her eating a cookie, that's much better than this one. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And I am amazed at how good a job it did of that hair, which is really hard. She had black on one part of it, brown on another part, white on another part, blue on another part, green, brown. I mean, that is hair is one of the hardest things to filter out. And I'd say that Photoshop even left some of these little, how do you call it, flyaway hairs. They're still there. So I think that it did a pretty amazing job. Even if it's, like she said, not what she wanted, but it certainly got rid of the junk. Okay, so everyone, any other questions? That's just what came up in the Padlet. Did anyone else try something that did or didn't work? Any questions that you have about what we did last week before we launch into the new stuff? People who haven't said anything yet, Samuel or Tatiana or Eric, anything there? No, nothing, no questions? Oh, Sue? Yeah? Mm. So, Sue is mentioning that when she was playing at home with her Photoshop, this bar that's here, you're saying didn't come up? The whole layers panel didn't come up. Okay, so remember that when you are using, let me share my entire screen instead of just this little screen. When you are on, you're on a Mac at home, right? Oh, you're on a PC. Okay, so then that's a bit different. On a Mac, I was going to say up there under Windows, you could go to layers and it would have appeared. But don't forget that when things are looking a little bit different, let me move this out of the way. When things are looking quite a bit different on a web on the whole workspace that's not looking like mine, the easiest thing to do is to go up here and to just reset your workspace. Remember that? So no, I was in, where was I where was I a second ago? In essentials or in photography? How am I was in essentials. I was in essentials. Okay. And then whichever one your computer is at home in. So say that you're in core tools, you reset core tools. Say you're in essentials, you reset essentials. Say you're in painting or photography, you reset painting or photography. And then things jump up. So say that I, for any reason, disappear my layers right now, and now I need to get them back. I would just go reset essentials. Now, one problem is that if I did put anything in here that I had made my own, then that would disappear. Does that make sense, you guys? So say that I really wanted something in particular to be here. So everyone do this with me. Let's go to window and let's open, where's the characters? Paragraph styles. Say, let's open paragraph styles, which I know you guys don't have up. Everyone go up to window and open paragraph styles. Everyone do that. I know that you don't have paragraph styles set up unless you're in the typography, but so here paragraph styles installed itself on the side and you can click on it on and off. Did that work for everyone? Did you all install paragraph styles? Give me a, yeah, let me actually clear your answers. I have answers from before. So now if you answered, answer again. Did you all install paragraph styles? Okay. So this example was with paragraph styles, but what if you are beginning to feel comfortable with tools that you want handy? So you've been putting other stuff in here. Let's put one more. Let's put glyphs. Again, one that I know for sure that you don't have. Let's open glyphs, and now we have glyphs. So I know that you guys don't have these. Open, go ahead and put in glyphs. Go to window and choose glyphs, and it'll pop in here. Okay, everyone's saying yes, so you're doing that, right? So go up to window and choose glyphs. Okay, so now let's go to layers, drag the word layers out. Now, if you're in this situation where you want your layers and for any reason you lost them or you don't, You messed up with them, so you drag them out for some way or another, and you then go to the X and get rid of them. Like you really want your layers, but you got rid of them. Everyone get rid of your layers. So just drag them out. So I grabbed them here from the name layers and I just dragged it out like that. And I lost them because I closed them. Okay, so everyone drag your layers and close them. Here are your answers. Okay, so now we have a very altered thing and we don't see things and things are missing and whatever I don't find. So for better or for worse, if I want my layers back, but I don't want to reset tools, because if I reset essentials, what's going to happen is, yes, I'll get my layers back, but I'm going to lose my paragraph styles and my glyphs. And if I really wanted them there, then I'm starting from zero again. Does that make sense? So resetting, although it's a good idea, also loses the special things you have created, which in our case is just 2 things that I randomly told you to turn on. So if so, don't ever forget, go back to Windows and look for that thing you lost. So if I put layers on again, they will end up in the wrong place, whatever reason it is that I lost them. But watch, you can put things back into their panels as well. So I'm going to grab layers by the name, always by the little tab that has their name. And I'm going to drag it in here and I'm going to pop it back to where it should be, which is the paths and channels, and boom, now I have it back in here. Does that make sense? So it's not like you can't recover things one by one. You can if you knew where they went. But say you're totally lost and you don't know where things are and a whole disaster has happened, then but first I want you guys to recover that one on your own. Go ahead and make sure to bring up layers again and to try to pop it in there on your own. If you pop it into the outside, if you pop it in the wrong place, say that I grabbed it from layers and I left it in there. See how I got that long blue line because I was trying to put it in there and I let go? What's going to make its own little panel, which is too much space. So you just bring it out again and try again until you pop it into the place where it goes kind of blue. See that blue line tells you where it's going to be in. Then you let go and then you put it back in. So everything is movable, changeable. You might want to say, well, I want my layers up here. Pop them up there. Sure, pop them up there. Now you have your layers up there. Like you can keep changing things to your heart's content. And now when we're done, let's go ahead and yes, let's reset those essentials. Now we've been using essentials for 4 days, whatever, how many meetings we've had. Let's now change and let's go to photography. Let's move back over to photography. And for those of you who already have photography set up, and it might be different than we want it to be, it might be different than mine, but let's go ahead and say reset photography. So it all resets down to 0. And I want to show you a little bit more of the photography tools like the histogram. So everyone go and choose, we're going to leave essentials mode, we're going to go photography, and then we're going to reset photography. And yes, now Paula, you had a question?
No, I think I got it. It's just like it was organized in a different way than what I was seeing in your screen, but I think now I don't know, I click somewhere
Okay.
and I think
And
it's
by the way, I had opened Chameleon to give an example. So I'm still in Chameleon. So it doesn't matter what photo you're in. We're just dealing with workspaces, right? Because once I change this workspace, if I close this Chameleon that I don't want anymore, if I close this file and I say don't save, because I was just giving you an example, anything that you're open again. So once I open, say this one, it'll greet me in the space that I'm in. And so this is greeting me in the photography workspace because that's where I left it. It doesn't go back to essentials. Do you know what I mean? If you left it in this workspace. So now if I put this one into motion workspace, for example, and I quit my citrus when I open this one again, it's going to open into motion workspace. So the workspace is separate from the photos. It doesn't matter. It's not like it accompanies the photo. So no matter what I open now, I'm going to open the baby feet noise. These are all things I've done before. I'm still opening in motion. See that? So whatever view you are using is the one that sticks. So now when we go into photography, no matter what image I open or close, it keeps being in the photography work mode. And now I'm going to close this one again. Now, where am I opening these from? This is the history. The computer remembers what I've opened last. And so I'm just opening them from here. instead of going to bridge because it knows which, like the last few that I've been using. Does that make sense? So it didn't matter which one I was opening, but you could have been opening from wherever. It's just that it was opening in whatever workspace I left it in. All the tools get inherited when you open the next computer, the next file, it inherits all the tool settings from the last time you were opening Photoshop. Yes, Rebecca? Let's all go to bridge now because we're going to open something new. Let's go to bridge. And yes, Rebecca, let me, your bridge is, go ahead and let's head over. Let me just reset here. You use your thing, your mouse setting, and I'll use this. Yeah, and let me make that bigger. There we go. And then this, you can down a bit so that you can see.
What did you do to get rid of that?
Oh, nothing. I didn't. This was so closed up, and I just opened it.
Oh,
So it's not that I got rid of it. I made it bigger. And this, I don't know, for some reason, got clicked on it. I was trying to open. So it's calling your attention. That's all. Okay, so here we are. Okay, so guys, if I'm just showing in a minute to show what I was correcting. Sue had her bridge really tiny like that, like it wasn't part of the. So there's places where it's not about resetting the view; it's about just the shape of the program itself, which is all that was happening. So you had to. I had just extended there. But other than that, you could also reset your essentials, reset to save layout over there, and it would just bring you back the.
What do you mean?
Okay, so in photo, let me open any image again. I don't know, let me open this one. There's a question that Sue has about what's the difference between essentials and photography. So it's what tools are available to me in the preset layout. So if I go to essentials, for example, I have this thing that says color. If I go to photography, it has this thing called histogram. It's more probable that I'll be using the histogram for photography and that I might be using essentials if I want to paint. So it just gives you different tools. But that doesn't mean that we need to live in those tools. If I'm in photography and I see a tool that I really want that I don't have, then I can open it and use it. And this is the part that I wanted to teach you guys. So let's go to photography now. Before I see there's some hands, but hold on, let's go to photography. And now I want to show you a couple of things. First, I like to see the histogram, but I don't want it to be so big. I don't know how big photography, go into Photoshop and open an image, any image, doesn't matter. Yeah, and this is opening, this is, again, something must have been clicked that it's trying to show you. So let's just close it again. And it probably just got clicked on or something. I don't know. Oh, because you're in this welcome to. Okay, so let's go into bridge, and let's open one of these from the other time. I don't know. Let's go with the chameleon because we've had that one open a few times. So now in here we're going to play with. Okay, so let me just show you. The histogram doesn't need this big, so I can put my mouse right here and drag it up a little bit so that I see it, but I don't have to see it so big, taking up so much space, especially if you have a small computer. The adjustments, I don't think we need to see or not to see so much. So I'm going to make them smaller in a different way. Instead of making them bigger and smaller like that, the adjustments, I don't need it all right now, but I don't want to get rid of it, like take it out. I don't want to get rid of it in that sense because I might come to it. I just don't want to see it right now until I need it. So watch what I'm going to do. Just double click on the word adjustments and it collapsed. When I need it, I click on it one time and it opens up again. You see that? So double click, it collapses. One click, it opens up. Same with libraries. I go to libraries. If it says view all libraries, whatever, just say done for a second, like mine. And I'll teach you libraries later, but right now, double click to collapse libraries, one click to open it up. Double click to collapse layers. And then if I collapse layers, where do they go? It went way down there. So libraries opened up big because layers is down there. So now I click on layers to bring it up. You see what I mean? So it's all moves all over the place. Put it in the way, let's just do our photography this way, where we have histogram a bit smaller, where we've double clicked on the word adjustments so we don't see it. Now we have a lot of space for our layers. In the bottom of our layers, we have these tools. And if this is something that we like and we want to have it replicate, let me go bring something else that I'm going to add in here. So the default Photoshop setting, it hovers over here. It gives me properties, it gives me information, and it gives me clone source. I really don't know why that one is there. Let's go over here to the left side. And I want to bring one more thing in here that I do want to use that I don't have. And it's, where are my, trying to figure out which one might be worth it to save, because that really is all we need. But let's say that we want character. Let's just click on characters and bring up character. So if we want to write, we'll have it there. So say that this is our basic set that we want to work with. This is not the basic photography. This is a smaller histogram, a collapse adjustments, and I've added character. Does that make sense? So now I'm tired of always having to reset and reset it. So now let's make my own. So everyone, hopefully you've double clicked to close adjustments, you've closed the histogram, you've brought in the characters. Now let's go up to our workspaces and let's just create a new workspace. Okay, so file, new workspace. And all of this is independent of the image that I'm working with. This is just the Photoshop. Click on new workspace. I'm going to call this one class workspace, or class 1, for example, or class Diana, or whatever you want to call it. Class workspace. Okay. Cool. I'm going to say, and the panel locations will be saved. Keyboard shortcuts, menus, and toolbars are optional. So if I've also changed my menus or my shortcuts and I might want to make a new save, that's fine. But since we didn't make any changes in there, let's just say save. I could have added new tools here. I could have done other stuff, but I haven't. So now I'm going to say save. Cool. So now we've created a workspace that works for us. In the future, if we go to core tools or graphic and web or photography, reset photography, it's going to go back to the old photography. If I go back to motion, it'll be the old motion. But when I go back to my class workspace, it'll be where I just set it up with the characters, with my closed adjustments, with my big layers. Does that make sense, you guys? If it worked and you made it work, and I know your hand is up, Rebecca, so when you answer something else, it might go away, so I'll ask you a question. But if you were able to create your own workspace with your own settings the way you like it, or the way I told you to set them for now, give me a yes. And let me see over here.
Why aren't I able to collapse that?
We don't want to collapse it, we just want to make it smaller. So go over here to this edge.
Which edge, down here?
Yeah,
Oh,
there.
okay. I was
And when the
coming up there.
tip of your arrow, there, tip of the arrow touches there, now you can click and
Okay,
just
I
drag
was
it up.
trying to do that.
Yeah, it's just that it depends on the size of your computer. Oh my God, the air conditioning just turned on.
Cool.
I know it is cold in here and it just turned on. Like it just clicked on, and I don't have a heavy jacket. I just have this little sweater. But, put it on so I don't freeze. Okay, so everyone's saying yes. Paula. Okay, so Paula, how can I help? What's not working?
I don't know. My histogram just it's like it's
Go
weird.
ahead and share your screen.
Okay.
Share your screen. This is the first time she's using her own Photoshop, guys. So she's had VDI, which to now, which was a bit of a mess. So let's see what's happening. Meanwhile, see if there's anything else of those layers that are there that you're interested in. Okay, so here we go. Can you put Photoshop back? No, you're stretching it out, which doesn't help me see your tool. So you need to move it over. Yeah. Okay. So let me just show you the histogram. This was happening here with Sue as well. She was trying to, hold on, don't do anything until I get my tool. There we go. She was trying to move it up from there, but that's not the end of that toolbar. This, you just have a lot of empty space. That's the end of that toolbar. So yeah, there we go. Put it up like that. And yeah, I see yours is black and white. Mine is color. We'll talk about that later. I'll explain why it doesn't matter. And then to get made adjustments, I just double clicked on the word adjustments to collect adjustments. There we go. And then over here, I'm noticing that your characters in your paragraph ended up here instead of on the toolbar. So go ahead and grab this one and pop it in there.
Here?
Yep. There, let go. And now grab paragraphs and pop it in there. I'm going to turn off this so people can see what you're doing. And there you go. So now you have it set up like I said. So it's like everything is very movable. Now go up here and say create a new workspace. Cool. And then call it something. Okay. And then say save. And be careful because there is another one called photography, right? So you want to make sure that you know that this is the new one. And there it is. The new one you created is there. And it could be, you know, Diana's thing or for when
Oh.
I do this. For when and so now you go to that one. So now if you mess up your this one because you take something out and you put something in and you grab something out, when you're done, you'll just go up here and you'll say reset photography edit, and it'll pop back into being like this, right? So at some point, you guys just choose once you're more comfortable and you know the tools that you like to use and what you like to do, you'll find a place where you'll just create the workspace the way you like it with the tools that you use the most. Does that make sense, you guys? All good? I'm going to clear your answers and share my screen. And oh, Eric let me just see what Eric did. And meanwhile, if you guys want to do a little screenshot of the workspace that you created and pop it in here to have a memory of that, that's good. Oh, I don't see what you're saying that you did to it. Use layer hue masking and brush tool to unmask color from the lights while making everything else black and white. Okay. Also use another hue layer to change the color of lights a little bit. Okay. So basically these lights say they were yellow. I don't know. He turned everything black and white, but then he made some holes in the back. And here, let me get my color. He made some holes in this, in the areas of the lights, so that we would still see color in the areas of lights. Does that make sense? Everything else is black and white. You might think, oh, it's nighttime. No, it's actually black and white. In color, it might have looked different. Over here, you see a little bit of light peeking where you see a bit of that yellow, you know how whatever headlamps have that orange plastic on them. So you can see a bit of it here where he erased in this area in order to let this light in. And probably it was fuzzy, so letting a little bit of it in, unless that's on purpose. It's also letting in the color of that car, and you can see it was a red car. So yeah, this probably would have been some color if it wasn't because it's been turned black and white, right? And then on top of that, he has those colors really saturated. Maybe they were yellow and now they're green, right? So he changed that in the hue saturation. But these lights were kept in the black and white. Is that it? No, they're in the color and you mask them. Okay, so why did these change color and not these? So Eric, if all of these have been unmasked, then why did some change color and some did not? Can you tell me what's happening? What am I missing?
So with the first hue saturation layer, I tweaked a little bit let me see I think it was the saturation on it. So I
Okay.
made them try to make them like more vibrant.
Okay, so you didn't
Um,
change the color of the light. It's the green light of, oh, got it. It's the green light of the go ahead versus this is the yellow light of the
the
street
street
light.
light.
That's why they are
Mhm.
different colors. Got it. So I thought you
Yeah.
had changed the color of the light. No, that was weird then because I'm like, well,
Mhm.
there's no mask here. You're right. This
Yeah.
was a green light and this was a yellow light. And so the
Oh, I
lights,
see what I did. I turned the hue -10. So
okay,
that's
so
like
you made it a little bit more, yeah, got it. But
Mhm.
now when I look at the image, I can tell these are street lights, which are that tone, and these are green lights, and that's what's
Mhm.
happening. Okay. And then
Yeah.
in this one, you just made everything else black and white, and then you open little holes into it to see through the color.
Yeah,
Um,
for the light glow.
That's a
Mhm.
great effect, right, you guys? That's the same thing I did with the chameleon, which is like, blah, but you know, it taught you the tool, and then he went and applied it in an image where it really makes a difference. That's what I want you to do, to really think about, oh, that effect, where can it go well? And it goes really well right here. Got it? So great. Thanks for applying that effect to this image. Good
Thank you.
example. And meanwhile, I don't see anyone putting any little posts here, but oops, I went a bit too small. Remember to post today's images. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a screenshot. I can't, 'cause I have Zoom in the way. Ah, hold on. I'm gonna do a little workspace screenshot to show that we just created our own new workspace. Okay. I'll post it later though. Let's keep going. And for now, it's up to you to do whatever you need or want to do with your workspaces at this point. Whenever you finally find that you're comfortable with something, you can go ahead and create your. I'm going to close that. I'm going to go back to Bridge, and now we're going to start on today's material. So close whatever file you've been opening for all of these things, and we're going to start today with something else. Okay. So did you send me the image, by the way, Rebecca? I haven't been checking. Let me go see if I can easily send it to you guys. Do I have your? Do I have your emails handy? Yeah, let me go to the email where I sent.
I don't see the whole
Or-
picture.
Hopefully it all came in. Yeah, it all came in. It's
Okay.
just a shortened version, but it's okay. So today's class files here. I'm gonna copy your guys' emails from here, even though you're not all here. But I'll send it. You know what? It's probably easier. There's so few of you guys to Luke. Here we go. Do you guys get your pipeline or your personal? Here, I'll just do a. What else is here? Shamuel. Send it to both. What else is here? Paula. And Paula. Rebecca, you sent it to me, so you don't need it. Eric and Lena. And Sue. Oh, I have so many Sue's here. Sue. Pipeline. Okay. Rebecca's photo from class. Okay. Did I get everyone's names? Yeah. Okay, so everyone go to your emails, and it's not sent yet actually, because I can still undo it. So it'll take 10 seconds before it actually sends. And then you guys can go pick it up. Okay. All right, so now you should go check your emails because it should be there. And then I'm going to show you how to bring it in to Bridge. I'm going to share my entire screen. So I downloaded that file. Okay, go back here. So I downloaded that file, so it's in my downloads folder. Okay. So if you have downloaded your file and you go over here in Bridge and click on downloads folder, you should see that file somewhere. If you don't, know what it's called. It's image underscore 2522.
I don't see the attachment in the email.
Uh-oh, did I not send it? Uh-oh, it could be that I didn't send an attachment. Photo from Rebecca's class has, interestingly enough, has no attachment. You are right. I was getting your guys' emails and I didn't send the photo. So let me try again. Compose to you guys. Photo for class. And let's put that photo in there, Diana. Thank you for pointing out. There we go. Okay, now you have to give it 10 seconds again before it goes. This time I did attach it. Okay. Okay, everyone give me a yes once you get the photo. Let me help Sue get it over here. So let's go to Safari. And why does it take you there? Is that the only thing you have? Yeah. You had already signed into that. So let's just go to my.sbcc.edu. Yeah, so go ahead and sign in. So this will be away so it doesn't have your phone. All right. Looks like it remembers it. So click on that. Yes, you told it to say that last time, which is fine.
Right.
Yeah, click on
That's
that.
not my password.
No, but click on that. You'll see. Yeah, it just knows the password for that. It won't show the password
Oh,
because
okay.
then people would see it, but it's
Oh.
the password for that.
Study
Got
abroad,
it.
that sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. Let's go to Gmail.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. And now, okay, so go to the one that says photo for class, that one. And now let's download it from up there. Okay, say allow. Good, and it should be working now. So let's, I'm gonna just quit that and that. And now go over to the downloads and it should be there. Let me see. Okay, does everyone have that photo? Eric said yes, Samuel, Tatiana, Rebecca. Well, Rebecca, it's her own. Tatiana and Samuel, do you guys have it?
There's another issue with the photo I noticed.
What?
In the reflection in the sunglasses is weird. It's
Oh,
my
well, maybe we can
fingers.
fix that. Okay, so everyone in your downloads, let's head over to downloads and sorry, in your bridge, let's head over to downloads. And then this one, we're just gonna move it. If you did make that shortcut there that we all had made, then you can just grab it from here and just drag it into that spot. And there we go, we've moved it and now it should be in here, okay? And it's under I for image. And let's double click and open it up in Photoshop. Did you drag it over? There it is. Yeah, double click. Perfect. All right. Give me a give me a yes once you have this photo opened in Photoshop. All right. Paula, did you get it? Tatiana? Now, the reason I'm using this image is because it speaks exactly to what I was going to talk today that has to do with more masking and stuff. I could have used one of mine, but I always try to make sure that we use images that people are interested in working on. So another reason to post your images. Tatiana, what's up? Did you not get the email yet?
I got
Oh,
from
you're
their
in
mail,
VDI.
but yeah,
Yeah. You're in VDI. I'm sorry. I need to post it. Sorry, I need to put the photo, it's my bad. I need to put it in the class files.
Mm-hmm.
So let me do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bring it into the class files. That said, you have to go to the shared drive class files,
Mm-hmm.
grab it from there, copy, and then paste it into your My Drive. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, thank
But
you.
now it's there. Okay. Thank you for pointing that out. Or I would have forgotten. All right. So I am now sharing in, not sharing. Here we go. Bridge. Sorry, Photoshop. We've opened it in Photoshop. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. And let me just repeat again, what's the problem with this image? When Rebecca used it, whatever changes she did, and this is applies to so many photos, not just this one, so but this is for example, whenever you get to edges like this, it's really hard for Photoshop to figure out how to do this without blurring the edges or giving you exact material. Does that make sense? Now, if we'd made our own mask first of the hat, then it might have been easier for that to be taken care of without the hat. There's like two different fixes that I'm going to give you. But first, I'm going to give you one of the fixes that's the easiest fix. So let's do that one first. And then there's, depending on the image, in case that other image doesn't work, then I'm going to give you another one. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and Command 0 so I can see it a little bit better. So it's filling my screen.
We lost your volume.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now? All right, I always have to take my little microphone thing off and reset it. Okay. I believe, so did you hear me that I said that there's two ways to fix this, and I'm going to show you one of them, that part? You got that? Okay, so then I was coming over here and saying, I believe that this is so prominent. I think that if I do select subject, the computer will know that that's my subject, but let's give it a try. I'm not sure. I might have to select it myself. I'm going to give the select subject a try. Yeah, it did choose that. Okay, phew. I didn't know it was going to choose that, but it did choose that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of just this area. So when something is selected, when you make a copy of it, the shortcut is Command J. So Command J gives me over here a new layer of the hat. In fact, if I turn this off, there's the hat. And again, it all depends on the image you have. The image she has is very easily isolated, cut out subject. You know what I mean? So for other type of photos, you might have to come up with a different solution. But in this case, it was a very clear, easy selection. Computer did it. Even if I had used my tools, it would have been easy selection because it's very defined lines. It's not like I was trying to choose this tree. You know what I mean? Forget it. There's no way. Okay, so now I have, let me just double click for us to get accustomed. So copy of hat. Let's see that it's all about the hat. And copy of hat. Okay, and now let's turn that eyeball off because I don't want to have it in the way. Now make sure that it's not in, it doesn't move or anything. It needs to stay right there. Now let's go back to the background. Okay, everyone with me? I just want to make sure, Tatiana, did you catch up? Did you get the file? Are you open and
Yeah,
running?
I'm good. I'm
Okay,
good.
good. All right, did you make the copy of the subject?
Yeah.
Sue, so just say, yeah, no, I'm asking here to Sue to say select subject. First, you need to select the subject here. No, first you need to select, oh yeah, you go to select subject. Oh, this one. Yeah, and then do Command J. All right, so here we are. We have preserved the hat. So now this background, it doesn't matter if we mess this little edge up. Does that make sense? So what we can do, and this is also to show you let me just reset my share so it's only Photoshop instead of all my extra space, and it's a bit easier. Okay, So now, last time we used the remove tool, we did it from the camera raw. So this is me showing you the remove tool in Photoshop. At the same time, why sometimes Photoshop is a better place to use the tool, because we have the option of layers. So the remove tools over here on the left side, if you see this little Band-Aid tool and you click and hold, then all these different retouching tools appear. And one of them is the remove tool, which is the second one down. Okay. So depending on which one you had used last is one you'll see there. So let's go to the second one, which is the remove tool. Required components are being downloaded. Check back later to use the feature once the download is complete. Okay. They must have just done an upload of a new version. So let me try again. Oh, all right. Okay. How long are you going to take to download? I'll use it. It's not going to let me use it at all. Well, let me see if it lets me use it as is. I hope it will. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and nope, it's not letting me use it. Or is it? Okay. Yeah, it is. I'm not sure. No, this is not generic remove tool. Nope, it's not letting me use it. Let me go over here to Sue's computer to see. Are you able to use it? Click and hold. Yeah, yours is working. For some reason, mine is in the midst of saying it won't.
Mine
All right.
doesn't have the drop down.
What's that?
Mine doesn't have the drop down.
Wait, drop down. This is not the correct thing for the top. This that you're seeing up there
No.
belongs
What I'm
to
saying is
the.
for the remove tool, I don't have that little triangle on the side or something that allows me to choose options.
So then you didn't start from the photography. So then you must have it open here. You must be in a different workspace, and then you have to look for the one of the Band-Aids that has the star tool, and it should be there. And if it's not there, I'll have you share your screen. Guys, it keeps telling me that I need to turn off my Photoshop and restart it to see if my tool works. So let me do that. Meanwhile, did you find it, Shamuel, or do you want to share your screen? You have it. No, you have the remove tool. I saw it. You don't need the triangle. Your tool is there. Yeah, let me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But it's just because when you made your own workspace, you didn't make it from. So when, let me just first, Shamuel, did you find it or do you want to share your screen? Was it Shamuel or was it Eric? It was Shamuel.
I
Was
had
it
my
male
audio
voice?
off. Yes, I did find it.
You found it? Okay. So let me see if the tool is available now. I just restarted my Photoshop and it's still telling me it's not available. Okay, so then plan B, which I wasn't gonna do, but instead, guys, I'm going to do it inside of Camera Raw, inside of Photoshop, which is not what I wanted to do, but it'll work. It's more complicated, but so here, for some reason, it's not letting me use the remove tool, so I can't use it. It keeps telling me that it's being downloaded, but I can't download anything in this computer because it's all set up by Command Center in the main campus and they do all the downloading. So I doubt they're downloading right now. This is probably an incomplete download process. So this isn't going to get fixed. You know what I mean? I did try, I restarted the Photoshop, but that's not the point. So I'm just going to cancel and instead, which isn't ideal, but instead, I'm going to, let me actually do a screenshot of that thing that appears. Because I need to, I'm going to do a quick screenshot. Hold on. I'm going to say, okay. And I want to do that. Perfect. I did a screenshot, but I didn't get there in time. Let me get that error to pop up again. And there we go. I did a screenshot of it this time. Okay. That way I can send it to the tech support. Okay, so what's the plan B? If I can't use the remove tool here, which was a big part of what I was trying to teach you, then I'm going to have to, yeah. So I'm going to have to show you how to use the remove tool within Photoshop, within Camera Raw. So it's going to work. It's still going to work. Let me first get the select subject. I had to close up and redo it without saving. And let me Command J to create my hat layer. Hat layer. Okay. Hat layer. Okay. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to, so if you did get that tool to work for you, I can't demo it to you, so I can't use it. So ignore it. And instead, let's go up to filter, convert for smart filters. And remember, we did this the first day, didn't we? Or the second day that we did smart filters in this class? Someone who's only in this class, do you remember that? Tatiana, or let me really quickly, Sue is saying yes, but let me just really quickly check in the Padlet. And I believe the first
Yes,
thing
we
we did
did.
were smart filters. Yes, we did. Okay, just wanted to make sure. We went to Photoshop and said filter, convert for smart filters. And now we're going to go back up to filter. After we see that conversion box happening, we're going to go back up to filter and choose camera raw filter. So we're going to end up using the camera raw remove anyway, but it's only because I can't use the non-camera raw. Okay, so I'm just looking over here over the shoulder of Sue, and in her case, guys, go ahead and say cancel to that. She's not seeing the image. Make sure, say cancel to that at the bottom. Make sure that you are on the layer 0 or the layer of the original image to do camera raw on it, okay? Because if you're selecting another one, then it'll apply camera raw to the other layer. So make sure that this one's the one that you're using. Turn off the eyeball on the top hat. We just want to see the bottom one. And now let's go ahead and do camera raw filter. Let me make sure that you did apply camera raw. Yeah, you need to first apply the filter to this one. Convert for smart filters. You had applied it to that one. Okay. Say okay. And then this one doesn't have the hat. So before we lose that hat, I need to have that hat here. So let's go ahead and say select subject here again. Okay, and now let's do a Command J.
I still have that pop-up thing and it won't let me open in Camera Raw.
So there we go. So that's good. So now select this one. Yep, thank you. And then select this one and now go to camera raw filter. What's that, Rebecca?
I got that Camera Raw filter, this profile.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about that. Probably everyone will get it if it's because it's your image. So
But
let me actually, I need to fit for some reason.
Mine didn't open in
camera
Raw.
Give me a minute. I'll be there if it's not working. I see a couple of hands, but I'm just trying to, let me see. Okay, so yeah, it did open in raw for me. Okay, Rebecca, you're saying it didn't open in raw for you?
Mm-mm.
Can you share your screen? And I know Tatiana, your hand is up, but since Rebecca
Yeah.
was first speaking, give me a second. Let's see what's happening to Rebecca.
Well, I'm trying to pick the right screen, but
Okay, so a camera filter, when you say okay, it says convert the okay, so try it again. I needed to read the whole thing. I apologize. I said okay, and then I had you turn it off before I was able to read it. Convert the profile. It said convert ICC color profile, convert the document to another profile to apply the color. The document is on a file camera filter. So what profile do you have? Let's go up. Are you on a Mac or on a PC?
a Mac.
Okay, so go up to file. I need to have mine
Oh,
in the same mode as yours to remember where it was. I believe it's under file. It
okay.
could be, no, it's under edit. And then go all the way to the bottom to convert to profile. And then let me see what profile you're in. Yours is this working. Same one I'm using, and it didn't have any problem opening in mine. Relative colorimetric, it's exactly the same one as the one I'm using.
And it was my cell phone. It was nothing special.
But it's usually like maybe your Photoshop is in a weird setting, but it's in the right place. Go ahead and say cancel. Let me see where else. That means I need to give you guys a break. Give me a second. Well, see if I can change I can't change it. I could change it in Camera Raw, but first you need to open your Camera Raw. Can you go ahead and open your color settings, which is right above the color profile?
Go back to edit.
Yeah. And then right above color, convert to profile. Oh, let me see if we go to assign profile. Hold on. It's not color settings. Let me see if right above. Let's go to assign profile. Okay, so
I'll say okay.
say okay to that. And then go to one above working RGB. Oh, you didn't go to working RGB, you went to don't color manage. Go to working RGB. We need to change it because if you don't color manage, it won't change it and it won't let you open it. Go ahead and say okay. All right, now go and see if you can apply file,
Uh,
filter, raw, camera raw filter.
it
It's
did.
letting you. Okay, good. All right, let me stop your share. Okay, I know break happened, but I know give me a second. I need to answer a couple questions. Yes, Tatiana?
Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
I got somewhere, I don't know where, and I can't, I tried to Control Z, but it not work.
Well, you are in camera raw, so that's okay. So what is it that's not
But
working?
it's not, doesn't look like yours.
I haven't yet opened mine. I haven't shared mine yet. Mine will look just like yours once I share mine. So yeah, you're in the right spot. I was just helping other people. I'll be back.
I think she needs to collapse everything.
I need collapse. Oh,
I see what you mean. Well, you can close here. Hold on, let me get my pencil. You can close right here to close the color. Yeah. One time only. You click twice, and so it opens and it closes. Just one time, yeah. And then over here to close the light, if that's what you mean by it doesn't look the same. Yeah. So is that what mine looks like right now? And that's what you were talking about?
oh, I think so, yeah.
Okay, because each one of these is a whole set of tools. And so you had two open. But yeah, if you open one of these, when you're done with it, you collapse it, then it goes back to this mode. Thanks, Shamuel, for translating.
But I'm wondering why can't I do like undo? It's
Yeah.
Control Z.
Yeah, but that isn't an action. Opening or collapsing something isn't an action on the image, so you can't undo that. Only if you do something to the image can you do or undo. This is just different ways of seeing your
I see.
panels.
Mhm.
So it's not something you can do or undo. Just like when we were
Okay.
changing all our panels at the beginning, that's not changeable. That's just things that we do to how we
Okay,
see the
thank
panel.
you.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm.
All right, so let me just really quickly share this with you guys and then we can go back and to our break. But since I was left in this mode, I kind of want to do this. Filter, camera raw filter. And here we go. So this is what, Shamuel figured out, that you were like, it looks different. It's because these two are open, but we're going to close them. That's true that to the people who are new to this class, I haven't really used these guys yet. Normally in Camera Raw, the first thing I do is I'll use all these. This time I moved on to a couple different tools. So that's why I wasn't aware. So, but let's head over to the remove tool, which is up there. Remember? And right now it isn't about how well this remove tool does. I'm trying to show you the masking. So really what matters to me is the masking portion. So I'm going to go to the remove tool, and then I'm using generative AI. I'm going to go ahead and draw over these guys. And now I'm not going to worry too much if I draw over the hat, and you'll see why later. But in fact, maybe I'll make sure to have a bit of the hat and some of this stuff and some of that stuff. And Gretchen's coming in. Let me let Gretchen to come in. And then once you've selected around and filled it in, then let's go ahead and say remove. Hi, Gretchen. How are you? We're almost done with this. We're gonna do this really quickly and then go to break. So just keep an eye on what we're doing. And then when we start after break, we'll start on something different. Okay. So now we're removing this piece, and it looks similar to what we did before, but it's not actually the same. Only interestingly enough, I got a really good result with that hat, which Rebecca wasn't, but I kind of got a good one. But I got a good rock in there. I like what I got. You guys, who knows what it'll give you.
What I got too. I got 3 good options.
3 good options this time because you included the hat. And that's interesting because before you were trying to avoid the hat and it wasn't working. But by including it, the computer knew that it's interesting. I'm thinking the way the computer thought is like, wait, this is a major subject matter. We don't want to get rid of it. So it's interesting because what I'm trying to teach you is how to fix the fact that that was missing. But in reality, it's almost like we don't need that, right? But that's okay. Did everyone get a good result-ish?
And what about the leg of the person under by my sunglasses?
Oh, I hadn't even touched that. You know what? You know it's a leg because you know the photo. To me, it's just part of the rock. So I wasn't
Okay.
even, but I guess I could do that. But I didn't even know that was, but let me see what it imagines. It puts more rock.
Yeah.
So there you go. So my example was supposed to be if it doesn't work, but it did work. But let's assume it didn't work. So I'm gonna, the reason I was doing this was to show you when it doesn't work. So let me see if I can really quickly show you this not working. You guys keep the one that's working, but I'm gonna do the non-generative AI, and I'm gonna try to do what Rebecca, oh, I need to go back though. I'm gonna do kind of what Rebecca did, which is try to avoid the hat. She kind of did something like that. You know what I mean? She kind of did something like that. And let me not use generative AI. And I'm trying to repeat the not good result. I'm not sure if I'm going to get a not good result, but we'll see. And let me get rid of, it didn't let me fix it. It's hard because it's going to be all a bad result, but never mind. Just to give you the example of so I'm doing it without generative AI and it should do a bad job here, see? So then she had to keep going and she did it again and she kept working like this and she kept working. So this is kind of what happened to Rebecca, right? She kept doing this kind of stuff and it kept doing bad examples. But at some point, she finally got some good greens, right? So I'm going to assume that at some point you get some good greens. And let's see. Okay, so here's kind of, I've managed to kind of imitate what happened to Rebecca. You guys probably got a good result because I told you to select the hat. But this here is a bit like what happened to Rebecca. So I'm going to use this as an example, okay? Where, let's everyone say okay. But as you can see, I have like pieces of purple and she had some weird grown greens over there. So I'm going to go ahead and say okay to that. So now my result is the bad one, even though we all got a good result. My result is the bad one. So why did I want to show you that? Because when you put then the hat layer on top, it would have fixed it. But unfortunately, it's not working because it came out too well. Or I'm going to undo all these changes. I'm going to do it again. And it's okay. So I don't know how, I'm trying to imitate your bad example and I can't. But look at this, you guys. Had this not worked well, what I was expecting is that we'd get a weird stretching and all of that. If so, when you say okay, then since we had reserved the hat on another layer, we would have whatever weird stretching was happening on this hat, it wouldn't matter because then I would just turn on the hat layer and it would cover it. So in fact, one thing that did happen, now that I see about it, is that the new hat isn't really the
Lined
same
up.
hat and it's lost a little bit of quality. So when I put the old hat on top, this is the real hat. So that even with a good result, the new hat looks better. Does that make sense, you guys? Try it on yours and see if when you turn on the eyeball on the new hat, it looks better because my hat isn't bad. But when I put the new hat on top, you can barely see anything changing. And yet it's the good old hat with all the quality of the good old hat.
Ah,
Got it?
mhm.
How do I add the layer?
The hat layer?
Yeah,
We
just
had done
drag.
that. We had done that before. That one we had done
No,
at the
no,
beginning.
no. So once I say okay, I edited everything in a camera
Yeah.
raw, and then when I put okay, it's already there, the layer.
So you didn't have it made into a smart filter?
No, I did.
So share your screen because I don't know what your question is. Meanwhile, if you got some result kind of like mine, go ahead and save it. When you save it, it'll ask you, it was a JPEG, it'll ask you to save as a layered file. Go ahead and do that. And let's call this one slash a hat new layer or something like that. I don't know, generative AI. And then hold on, you can't share until I share. So hold on. I'm gonna stop my share and okay, try again. Gretchen, we are almost done. I told you we're almost done, but we really are almost done. So what's your question? You have it.
No, my question is, okay, I worked on this on the
Yeah. Turn off the
camera.
eyeball. Turn off the eyeball on the hat. Okay. So turn it off. Yeah. So now your question is,
No, my question is, do I have to drag this into
no.
no?
Turn off the eyeball. Turn off the eyeball for a second.
Okay.
What's happening underneath is what you fixed with Camera Raw.
Okay.
Just in case it was a bad fix, we left the copy of the hat on top so that it would
Okay.
cover the bad stuff. In your case, when you
I
turn yours
see
on or
now.
off, it's almost the same, right? It's barely a tiny bit.
Yeah.
So it makes no difference because your Camera Raw generative AI gave you a good result. You know what I mean? So when
Yeah,
you
but
turn
it
the
is
top one
better.
off, it's barely any difference. But the top one is the original hat
Okay.
and the bottom one is the one that was generated by AI. Yours is so identical that it doesn't matter. You might as well throw the top one off. But if you had had a hat that didn't turn out well,
Okay.
turning this one on, it would cover the bad one, right?
Okay.
That's why I was trying to get you to turn it off to see how different they were. And in your case, they're very similar, so it doesn't matter. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes.
But for some of you guys, in my case, my hat was not bad, but it wasn't as good. And in Rebecca's original case, it was pretty bad. And so that would have helped, although you also had bad stuff on the green. So you would have had to, it's hard to fix those greens when you have to go over the edge, but by going over it and reserving the hat, it so happened that generative AI did a good job with the hat. But if it hadn't, then you get a better result. So yes, Tatiana.
I can't
So everyone
find.
give me a yes, and if it worked, give me a post of your, your different layers and your camera raw filter and everything. Post it
I
in
can
Padlet while
find
I
my
keep answering
layers
questions.
after.
Go ahead and share your screen. Everyone else, do screenshots, post them so that we can start with something new when we come back. Okay, so tell me what your question is.
Where is my layers?
Oh, well, you're still in camera raw, right?
Yeah,
So until you say okay,
I
you won't
told
get your
you.
layers. Go ahead and say okay.
I did it. Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
Okay,
So here
thank
are
you.
your layers.
I did, but okay.
Oh,
I'm
we're
so
okay
sorry.
because you didn't save it as a smart filter. So look, you guys, just as a learning for
Mm-hmm.
everyone, she did not do the smart filter here, the first step that we did. So what happened is that this is a destructive modification. It doesn't have any way to go back to it. You see that? Now, if this had been a bad result, that would be terrible, right? But it's a good result, so maybe it doesn't matter. But just to learn, let's undo this because we still have the chance to undo. As long as if you had saved this file and closed it, you're done. You never have the original again. But we can still go to history and undo. So go up here to the history and let's undo the camera raw by going up one. Yeah, one up. Just choose that one. Yep. So now you have to redo the camera raw. But the part that's missing is that you had forgotten to go to filter and first choose convert for smart filter. Whoops. Convert for smart
Oh,
filters right there.
yeah.
Convert for smart filters, say okay. Now go and nope, camera raw filter. Yeah. And
Oh,
now do the same thing. Go to the remove and drag
okay,
across that.
I see.
And now just do the little drawing and then say okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then you should be able to. Yeah. Cool. All right. So did everyone do their posts? Hopefully, let me go and help. Hold on. I'm gonna see your guys' posts. I'll post my, oh, Rebecca, you posted something else. Okay. Everyone do give me your posts. Meanwhile, I'm going to call on a break and I'm going to help Rebecca. But first, let's do the break because otherwise we will never do it at 6:41.
So are we saving this one?
Yeah, save this file. And we're going to do, we're still going to use this image. When we come back, I'm going to show you something else with it. But yeah, photo, what time is it? 6:41. So let's do 10 minutes. Be back at 6:50. It's actually 42 already, so 6:52 p.m. 10 minutes, okay? Oh, back at. Back at. All right. So Gretchen, I'm going to send you this image that you don't have. I'm going to do it right now as an email, okay?
Okay, thank you. Sorry I'm late.
Then, no, that's okay. I'll email this photo to you. And then when we come back, just have it open and just do a select subject and then we'll continue. But let me just forward it to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Downloads. Where did I put that photo? Oh, I moved it. What's it called? Image something. Here it is. Image 252. In fact, you know what? I'm going to send you the one that we're working on right now, which is bigger. Oh no, it's going to be too big. No, cancel. Just a small one. And you can start from there. Okay. So you should be in about 10 seconds or so. It should go. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to disconnect for a few minutes. All right, so if anyone at home is around, I don't know what time I said we were coming back because I've been trying to fix my computer. What time did I say? Is it time?
Yeah, I was just checking my jury duty.
Okay, but is this the time I said to come back?
I don't know.
I don't know, but just to know whether everyone should be here or not. In the chat, what does it say?
6:52, one more minute.
Okay, a little bit more. Because I had to I reset my entire computer, restarted, switched the Zoom to another computer, brought the Zoom back. And so I lost my chat while I was trying to see if my tool that I can't teach got fixed, and it didn't get fixed. Nope, which is a problem because that's a tool that I can't not demo. So I'm going to ask I'm going to send it to tech support. That's why I needed to know. But I didn't want to do it before I did a whole reset. Right? Because then the first thing they're going to say, did you restart the computer? I say, yes, I did. Anyway. All right. So let me share my screen. Is it time? 6:52? Yes. All right. So guys, if you are here, and you normally turn on your videos, please turn them on. If you are here that I don't see you, then give me a yes so that I can know that you're there. Gretchen, did you get the photo that I sent you?
Yes, I did.
Okay, great. Let's open that up. And now let me share my screen. Let me share just this portion of my screen. And there we go. Okay. So thank you, those of you who posted the hat, the layers and all of that. Now, back to Photoshop. And Gretchen, when you opened it, yours is a flat, image. So let me just show you really quickly what you should do. You open the flat one again, which is this one. So the only thing I need you to do right now, Gretchen, is hit the select subject. Okay. And the hat will be selected, and then do a Command or Control J so that you have a new layer with just the hat. Okay. And this is just Gretchen because she doesn't have all the work we did before class. So I'm just giving her that. All right. Tell me when that worked, if that worked, or if you have it, or if you need anything else. And then I'll keep going. All right. Any questions, Gretchen? Or are you good? Or you got it? Okay. All right. So now let's continue. If everyone's back, let me clean your answers. My chat, since I had to I restarted my whole computer and everything, it all went away. I need to put the link for when I do that, the chat goes away. So let me, hello.
Do you want us to say hello again?
No, I'm trying to put the link in there, but for some reason my share. No, it's all right because I'll have that stays. The chat concluded and that stays for me. But can somebody copy the link? Why is it the link? There, copy link to board. I just need to put the link again. Gretchen just got here. She wouldn't have it. And for anyone else to have it again. Okay, so there's the chat. All right, if you guys ask any question in particular, I can go and retrieve the other chat. But if you have a question again or something you need to say, please put it in this one because the chat from the first half disappeared for me. It's stored in the bowels of this computer and I don't want to go get it right now. All right, so in Photoshop, we had this layer here that is now covering the rest of the image, which has now been fixed. I mean, in my second fix, I didn't get the bottom hand, but it doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. So let me show you two things. First of all, I want to reselect this hat layer without having to reselect subject because this time the hat might be selected differently. You know how each time you make a selection, the selection could be different than the first one. So I want to make a selection from this layer. First of all, if I turn this eyeball off, as you can see, The hat is isolated. I don't even have that little bit here that you mentioned was a leg that didn't look like a leg. It's just isolated from its whole environment. So if I select that, that will give me exactly the piece that I need. In fact, wait, is that's like between head and hat. I don't know. So how do we do that? How do we pick up a selection from an existing layer, which consider again, is just a floating hat. So I'm going to turn this off so you can really see it. But what I need to do is I'm going to hold down under the Command key for a Mac, Control for a PC, and click one time. And I have picked up that selection. You see that? So it's a cutout image. And I do Command or Control, and I click one time on the thumbnail, and I have picked up that selection again. Now, I didn't want to really do anything to this hat. What I wanted to do, I'm turning on the eyeballs again. What I wanted to do was to everything outside of this hat, right? So let me just turn this eyeball on and off again. This is a selection of the hat. If instead I want to operate on what's outside of this hat, the way to do that is to invert the selection, right? So instead of the hat, let's grab everything else. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So how to invert that selection? The shortcut, of course, if you want to learn it, which is Command-Shift-I, or in this little contextual toolbar, they figured out you might want to do that. So this little icon right there is to invert your selection. So if I click on that, can you see how now the hat is still surrounded, but the whole area up here also has, you see that? Marching ants. So let's invert it again. It's just the hat and this part of the face. Just like that. When I invert it again, it's the hat and everything else. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to turn this eyeball on again. So basically what is being selected right now is all the greenery, all the stuff that's around it. Yeah? So now that I have basically these outside areas selected, that outside area isn't on this layer. It's on this layer. Does that make sense? I made the selection based on this layer, but that's the layer that has green. If that's what we want to affect, then I need to select that layer. Because now I want to apply whatever I apply, be it a blur filter, be it a camera raw filter, be it a generative fill and have this hat floating in space. Whatever it is that I'm doing is going to happen to this layer. Does that make sense? So you need to learn to always select the layer that you're going to work on, even though I had to start by making the selection based on that one up there. So now with my inverted hat selection made and my layer 0, which has green behind, I'm going to go ahead and use a blur filter. Let's go ahead and go up, since this is already a smart object, it's easy to just go up to filter and not worry too much. And let's go over to the blur. I'm not going to do the blur gallery. I'm just going to go to the regular blur. And I'm going to go ahead and choose Gaussian. It sounds like, you read it and it kind of sounds like you should say Gaussian blur in English, but this was a Russian or German guy, I don't remember whose name this is after, and his name was Gauss, so it's really Gaussian blur. So we're going to click on Gaussian blur. And what this blur does is it's going to, so over here, I'm kind of seeing what it's going to do, and I'm going to get to blur more or less everything that's behind this woman. See that? So say that I wanted this to be pretty blurred. If you have this preview turned on or off, you'll see how blurry it gets or not. Okay, so the preview shows you you're blurring it about that much. It's a little bit harder to see it here, but this is at 100%, so it's pretty blurred. Here it looks less, but we're not looking at 100%, we're looking at 30%. So this is really how much we're blurring it, which is a lot. And I mean, I can go much more blurry. I could go much less blurry, but somewhere over there is quite a bit blurry. Let's
Mm.
actually blur it a bit more because I wanted to make it look, let me just say that I'm trying to make it look a bit bad. So let's blur it a lot. I don't know, about yay big. Okay, so let me help people over here. Okay, so first of all, you need to be selecting this guy there.
Okay, then one
Okay.
second. When I selected this, I
Yeah.
used square around it. like I
Yeah,
did there.
because you didn't have the right one selected. So now go with your, here, go with your, this hand. Hold down the command key. And then click on the hat, on the actual hat. Good. So
Oh,
now you get
okay,
the
now-
hat.
okay,
Now go and invert it right there.
Rather than up above.
Yeah, it's just closer. Cool. And now go up to filter and choose Gaussian blur. Gaussian blur. That one, the top blur. And then Gaussian blur. Okay. Okay, so we gave it a very, very intense blur. And now we're going to say okay to that.
Diana, I wasn't able to select the hat again.
Okay, give me a second because this is just mini demo moment and then I will go back to this. Let me just say okay to that. And then either you deselect with Command D or you hit the deselect over there. And now we have an area that's been very well assigned, right, to be blurred. But if we go to 100% Command 1, and you start looking, it's actually doing a better job than before. So even my example, Photoshop's getting so much better. But even then it's got a little bit of a halo to that blur. It's just doing so much better. All the examples I'm giving you right now are working better than they're expected to work. Because had you done this in the past, and yes, it's a ton of blur, so I don't like how much blur I gave it, but I was purposely giving you a lot of blur because what used to happen is that around the edges of the hat, the blur wouldn't look good. And thus, again, the hat layer would have saved. Oh, it was. Okay, we did it right. Okay, phew. Okay, we did it right. I had you do it right. So this is what's happening. If the hat layer was turned on and I blurred, okay, for a moment I thought, did I do that wrong? No, I did it right. The whole thing in the Gaussian blur got blurred because we blurred it enough that it overlapped. See how the whole person is blurred?
Mhm.
And the Gaussian blur affected the whole thing. So then, and this is what I was trying to do with the camera raw, with the remove before, I was going to have the remove be encroaching over the hat, in which case then by putting the hat on top again, then you would have like fixed that problem by putting it on top. Does that make sense? Now, this is the example I was trying to give you, only since the remove worked better than we expected. I made something else be bad. And now we can have this one on top for it to look. And now since it's a non-destructive modification, I can go back into Gaussian blur, and I'm going to help you now with that selection, but I can go back into Gaussian blur and I can say, well, I would really like it to be more or less or more or less, which if this eyeball had been turned off, right, and you do Gaussian blur, then it's like the whole thing is going either very blurry, the whole thing, or a bit or whatever, but it's affecting the entire image. So if I leave it very blurred, and I'm going to leave it even more blurred, I say okay, then you'd still have, of course, the more you blur it, the more fake it looks, obviously, because this isn't realistic. We wouldn't have one hat be so sharp and the rest be so off. So of course it's up to you to see how much you're gonna blur it or not. Just showing you how you can isolate the area that you don't want to be affected. And in this case, instead of with a mask, we isolated by just copying the pixels and putting them on top. And then you can move this up and down all you want. And so that's a bit more realistic. This could be a real background. and yet it's the hat. So what matters is that these do not separate themselves. So if I now move the hat, then, you know, something weird's going to happen. So I need to make sure that these two stay linked. But before I do that, Paula, so you were having a hard time with the selection of the hat?
I was able now to do it, but for some reason I'm not seeing the blur filter on the layers.
Down here.
Yes, I was able to blur it.
Okay, share your screen so I can see where it's appearing.
Okay.
Maybe it did it in a destructive manner. So Gretchen, were you able to do that? Was everyone able to do that? To have one layer that's blurred and one layer that's not? Okay, I see what's happening to you. You're doing it again. So you're doing it with a so all the stuff that you did before was in a destructive manner. You didn't do it. Go back to your, okay, go back to your history. Let me see. Oh, here's where you made the mistake. Hold on. See here it says rasterize layer. When you did that, you lost your,
What is that?
rasterize is the opposite. It's when you undo your smart object, your smart filter. So this became a destructive modification. But the good news is, since your history is still there, you can back up. So if you go to the one above where you made a mistake, so if you click on layer visibility, there you go, you have all your stuff again.
I don't understand. How
Yeah.
did I remove it?
At some point, something asked you, do you want to rasterize? You must have hit delete or something, and you must have said yes to it. I don't know when it happened, but somehow from there to there, you were asked to rasterize and you said yes, so you rasterize. Rasterize is make it again, make it not a smart object. That's the word, to rasterize.
Okay.
And since you probably didn't even know what it meant, if you said yes to it,
Okay.
I don't know what tool you might have done, then can you go back here to Gaussian blur? Then when you applied the Gaussian, when you rasterize the layer, when you applied the Gaussian blur, you click on that, click over here, then you lost all the layers. That's why you were saying you lost layers. I didn't know what you mean. You lost all the things that made this editable and something that you could correct. So now you go back up and there they are. So now you can go back in and do it. So now when you go and do the Gaussian blur, it'll appear as one more filter in here. There we go. So now you can say okay to that. And now it's appearing over there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you can say deselect to get rid of those of the over here. Go ahead and say deselect down here. Yeah, so that you get rid of the marching ants, and now you have your eyeball on or off for your hat.
Okay.
And
Okay,
what's
cool.
underneath. Now, the Gaussian blur applied to everything instead of the selection that I wanted because it was doing it inside of the smart object. I had you guys select it thinking it would just apply only to that area. But because it was a smart filter, it applied it to the entire thing. Smart filters don't have individual masks. They only have one mask for everything. And so that's why it's happening that way. But anyway, that's good. Let me stop your share. And okay, so everyone save that. And let's go back to bridge, but hold on, I need to share my screen, which is over here. And share again, and bridge. Okay. So, I'm going to let you, Rebecca, since you've tried the reflection filter, go ahead and try it on your glasses, but I want to move on to a different, I know that I did it on Friday and not to this group, but there's a filter to remove reflections. I'll let you try that out on your own and then show it as something that you've done. But I want to move on to a different, different tool for us. So I'm going to let you do that on your own. So let's go ahead and in bridge, we're going to go ahead and we're going to open, where are we? Looking for the file. Okay, so this one here, the eyeball or whatever eye it's called. Right, so it's a JPEG. So if you double click the eye, it's just going to open in Photoshop. All right, give me a yes when you all have the eye opened up and ready to go. Now this image is in black and white. There is no color to it. What if we, it's the opposite of what, Eric and Paula tried to do when they added with the hue saturation that was color, they took the black off and then let it in. This is the opposite. How do you give color to something that doesn't have a color? And in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to give the color to her eye, leave the rest as black and white. But it's not something that is extremely sharp, right? And it's
Mhm.
We lost you. The
feel like it gets hot every now and then. It gets, when you guys tell me we lost you and I touch it, it feels a bit hot. So maybe it just overheats. I don't know. I'm going to put it on a clip that it has instead of inside my pocket and see if it, guess that's hot. So what I was saying is that we're going to, I don't know how much you lost, but that we're going to give color to this area only. And but starting from scratch, there's no color whatsoever. So how do you add color to something that's black and white? And so there's a couple different ways to do that. I'm going to show you, of course, now at this point, generative AI could probably do it for us, but I'm not going to go in that direction. What I'm going to do is have us use masking and adjustment layers. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just select. Why did I say it? I wanted you guys to tell me. I was like, the first thing we're going to do, you tell me. Well, still, maybe you didn't hear me. Maybe you were distracted. So what should I do in order to change just the iris color?
The selection tool?
The selection tool. We have so many selection tools. I've shown you just one, the quick selection tool, right? So if we click over here to our selection tools, and you click and hold on this one, and if you guys had it in a different workspace before you created your own, like if you had it in photography or in photography, you might see them all separated like that, and you might have one, oh sorry, that's the one that I can't have, one on top of the other. But if you have it if you did it based on the essentials, you would have them collapsed. Whole point is, if you look at the fourth tool down and you click and hold, these are all different selection tools, and these are all different retouching tools. Okay, so this one here, that's the brush, is because the last one I used was the brush, but for yours it might look like a box if the last one you used was the object selection, or it might look like a magic wand if the last one you used the magic wand. So we're going to go ahead and these are the three that we've already used. I'm going to just really quickly use this one again to have you guys review this. And then I'm going to show you another selection tool that's not here at all, just so that we know all of our selection tools. So the way all three of these work is going to be the following way. I'm going to start with the quick selection tool. It's going to be a tool that I'm going to click and drag around the area that I want to select, right? And it's going to make a selection of some kind or another. And right now, I don't care how good or bad that selection is. The point I'm trying to make is, watch. I select something, then I create an adjustment layer for it. And then I give it color or brightness or whatever, right? So say that I give it, there's no hue saturation, but I could colorize, for example, and give it some weird color. Okay, so it gives me a mask based on my selection. So I don't want you guys to do this. I want you to notice that what I'm saying is that this is how all these tools work. Whichever way we select, once we have the selection, then we create an adjustment layer tool. Okay, I'm going to delete that because I want to show you the other selection tool that doesn't work that way. What these do is they select different things, different ways, better or worse, but they all operate later in the same fashion that I just showed you. They create a selection that then you work on. The other selection tool I'm going to teach you is a bit different. It's up above. If you see a lasso, you click and hold. It's selection brush tool. And I haven't used the selection brush tool too much. So go ahead, and some of you guys might know it. Some of you guys have never seen it. It's these four, and the top one is the selection brush tool. So these are all different selection tools. This one's hiding over there. Did you all find it? All right. So just like the other ones, though, it operates with your keyboard to make it bigger or smaller. For some reason, my keyboard today isn't wanting to cooperate. It's not really getting bigger or smaller with my keyboard, and I don't know why, which is driving me crazy. It hasn't. It's my computer's. My Photoshop is doing weird stuff today. So I'm going to use this place to make it smaller or bigger. Is it working for you guys to use your brackets to make it bigger or smaller? Yeah, for some reason my brackets aren't working today on any of the tools. I don't know why. But anyway, so I'm going to make it. I hate this version of making it bigger or smaller because then you have to guess at how big you want it, right? But anyway, there's another shortcut that is going to work for how to make. Let me go to my handouts for a second. I'm going to show you. I have to stop the share and restart for this. Okay, so in the class handouts, I have this tool here, brush tool size and hardness shortcuts. I'm going to double click to open it. And it's another shortcut tool, another shortcut handout, because I had shown you the other one for the shortcuts handout. This is specifically about how to make any brush tool. There's like 10 different things that are considered brush tools. So any brush tool, you should be able to increase or decrease the size with the bracket keys, remember? Which is kind of what I've been doing all this time. But right now, for some reason, my computer's doing weird stuff today. It's not working. But there's another shortcut that's really useful. And I'm going to show it to you again. This is one of those things that you might want to download and print and have next to you. Where if you're on a Mac or on a Windows, it is a bit different. So in this case, these are different. But for the Mac, if you hold down the Control and the Option key, okay, for the Mac, then you can drag left to right. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. For those of you who are Windows, you would do Alt and right click. Is there anyone left on VDI? I think, Tatiana, are you on VDI, I believe? So Tatiana, you're on
Yes,
VDI?
I am.
You're on a Mac computer at home?
Yes, at
Okay.
home, but I on
Yeah.
VDI.
So
Yeah.
within
So I need
VDI, you
all
would have to
all.
do this one. And the
Uh-huh.
Alt key for, if you look in your keyboard and do you see an Alt key, it's the Option key for you. That's the Alt. And right click. So that's for you on Windows. But the problem is that this one, because you're inside of VDI, if that one doesn't work, then try this one. It just works a little bit differently. Probably for the shortcut, you might need to do this one. I'll try one or the other, okay? So I'm going to do Control Option. So let me go back to Photoshop because I am on a Mac. Why am I getting that again? Please? I'm not going to be able to use it. Okay. So let me show you. I'm doing the shortcut now. Wow. I'm holding down in the Mac, the Control and the Option key, and I'm moving to the right or to the left, to the right or to the left. And my tool is getting bigger or smaller. You see that? That little red spot is showing me the tool. And if I go up or down, my tool is getting sharp or soft. Sharp or soft. See that? So once again, right or left to change the size of my mouse, and up or down to make it a sharp selection or a soft selection. Okay, so I'm going to make it a selection that's about yay soft. And when I'm saying about yay soft, is because can't really be a hard selection, because see how the iris is not a hard line, but I don't want it to be too roofy and fluey. So I'm just kind of choosing between really soft or really sharp. I'm choosing about yay-ish, which is, I don't know, I'm going to test it. It's about 50%. And then between big and small, I'm going to go about, I don't know, maybe a little bit bigger there. Why is it still giving me a big circle? Okay. So now when I start painting, so watch my screen, what this tool does, as opposed to the rest, I'm going to paint, I'm not making the eye pink. This is a mask that I'm painting. So it's like when we did the remove tool or stuff like that, that it painted a mask. It happens to be this color. It's a mask. Usually they use this magenta. So I'm painting around the area that I want to select. Okay. And so I'm doing my best to paint around this edge. I need to go a little bit deeper in there. And here. And my mouse was so big that I got some stuff on the inside. So I'm going to put it in, I'm going to make it a bit smaller. I'm going to put my mouse in minus mode by holding down the Alt key. And then I'm going to get rid of, I went too big. So let me just show you that again. I select all I want, but if I go overboard, right, because that I shouldn't have selected that, then I have to put my tool in minus mode. So minus mode is always in the option key. Okay, so I'm going to make my mouse smaller, and I'm going to put minus mode, and then I'm going to get rid of the selection over here. Now, again, since what I told you is that we're going to be putting color in this eyeball, you might think I'm putting color on this eyeball, but no, this is just, I'm making a selection. This tool, when you make a selection, it gives you this color. And if you don't believe me, let's go over to this one that has color. If I were to be using this same tool, this selection tool, and I was trying to select this hat, see how it paints it pink? If I were to select this rock, it paints it pink. It's just a selection, okay, guys? It's not that I'm making this eyeball pink. It just so happens that I told you we're making it a color. So suddenly it seems like I'm choosing this color for the eyeball. No, I'm making a selection with a hand-drawn tool. When I go over and I do the wrong job, I hold down the Alt or Option key to put it in minus mode, and then I take away. Okay, a little bit like when we were doing a mask that we were adding or taking away. Does that make sense? When you've created that selection, give me a yes. Hold on, let me clear it. Yeah, no one has a yes answer, so that's good.
This is the selection brush tool.
It's the selection brush tool. Instead of showing you the marching ants, it paints the area that you want to select pink. It's a selection brush tool. That's all it is. And in fact, if you look down here, there's a choice called deselect, like it's selected right now, and it would deselect if I were to hit on that. I don't want to deselect, but that's an option. Is everyone with me? You've all created a, for now, if you don't trust me, it's a selection, just do it. Paint her iris pink, which is basically just make a selection of the iris in a way that you can see it. With other selection tools, you might end up only having like marching ants and you wouldn't be sure where it is, but this way you're supposed to see it. If you're painting this on an image that happens to be very pink, then you could have changed the color of the selection to something else just because it might not work to see it. You know what I mean? But by default, the color of the selection is magenta. Okay, I'm seeing yeses on Eric and Rebecca. How's everyone else doing? Gretchen, Tatiana, Shamuel, Paula. How's it going? Okay, I'm seeing yeses. Tatiana, Paula, do you need a hand? Is everything working? Or is not something not working?
I'm trying.
Okay. And over here, Sue is also doing her selections. It's a bit harder when she's got a special, the trackball mouse, so she's getting accustomed to it, but that's fine. All right, Tatiana, you good? Oh,
I didn't got I didn't get about how can I change the size of my
okay, so let me stop my share. Because you're on VDI, let me just go ahead and share your screen and let me watch and I'll tell you in which way it's going. It's you can still use your keys that you were using up until now, you know. Okay, so in this case you have it to soft. Okay, so yeah, back up and go all the way back up to open. Yeah. Oh, all right. So let's go to your selection tool again. And yeah, so now go ahead and if you can't change, it's too big. See, you're selecting. No, stop. Don't even keep going. You're selecting with a brush that in this case, not necessarily, it is too big, but the worst part of it isn't how big it is, but it's that it's very, very soft. So you're selecting some of that white area there, right? So when you go over here, and click on that, and then just make it much harder. I think I ended up with mine at around 50% hardness. And then I will see if it works when I do it. But first you need to get rid of what you did. So go to history and get rid of that because it's going to be hard to get rid of this. So go to history and undo everything first because you're also working on a very big brush. So yeah, click on that. Okay, go back to open over here. Keep backing up because you have for some reason a quick selection there that I don't want. Just go back to open. Yeah. Okay. So now let's go to the image. And you've brought down the hardness, but you still have a very big brush. So the moment you put it in here, you are already getting some from there and some from there. So the first thing you need is to make it smaller. And if you can use your keyboard to click on the bracket keys, that's the best way to make it smaller. Especially in your case with the confusion of Mac or PC. So go to letter P on your keyboard, letter P. And on the right side of the letter P, those are the brackets.
I did it, but
It's not working.
Option.
No option.
No option, only bracket. Okay.
Just brackets there. Yeah, the
Oh,
other
I
one works
tried
for
with
everyone else.
options. Okay.
Yeah, because inside of VDI with Mac and PC, for you, just do that one. The other one, which controls both hardness and softness, is just too complicated on VDI.
Okay. See. Thank you.
All right. And now it's easier not to do it all at once. It's easier to raise your mouse now and then and keep going because now everything you've done is one selection. And if you wanted to just fix a little bit, if you do undo right now, the whole thing disappears. So it's better if you do some, raise your mouse, do some, raise your mouse. I'm going to demo that in a minute. But anyway, now you need to get rid of all of this, right? Because it went too far. So now you need to hold down your option key, yeah? And put it in minus mode and then come and start gently going around that to get rid of that.
How can I put the minus?
Hold down your option key.
Option key?
And keep it held down. And now start drawing. Nope. Okay. Option key is not doing it. You keep holding the option key, right? You didn't let go? Tatiana, are you holding down the option key the whole time?
No.
Yeah, hold it down and keep it down. And now draw. The option key has to be held down. Why is your mouse getting smaller and smaller? I'm not sure. Why is it getting smaller and smaller? You're not doing option key, you're doing the brackets.
Oh my
You're
God.
making it smaller and smaller and smaller. I don't need it to be small. Make it bigger again.
Option key. Oh. Option key together and
No,
oh,
not together. Go ahead and undo. Command Z.
undo. Command
It's
Z.
okay. I'm not being very clear. Go and undo.
Command Z.
Okay.
Okay.
So listen,
Mhm.
you're doing two different things. I could tell that your mouse was getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and that's the bracket keys. So I don't want it smaller. So go ahead and make it bigger again. You don't want it too tiny. So that's the
Mhm.
bracket keys letter next to the letter P.
Yeah.
On those to make them bigger again because you
Only brackets. Oh,
there.
it's
There,
bigger.
you're making it bigger
Bigger.
again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. Leave it there. That's big enough. Okay. Now, don't touch those anymore. Now go down to your keyboard and hold down the option key. Nothing else. Not option and click on it, just the option key and keep it held down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, start drawing and see how it's going in negative mode.
Mm-hmm.
When you let go of the option key, then it starts painting again. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
So now let go of the option key and go back in there and paint that in again. But this time try to be a bit more. So now, yeah, there we go. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then drag over
But
here a
it's
little
too
bit again.
complicated. It's complicated.
Yeah, well, the option key is the off and without it, it's on. So now you might need to take some off here. And trust me, it's hard at first to know how to handle your mouse. So I get it. But that's why I said at the beginning, it's better to control. See, exactly. That keeps happening. No, but that's okay. That's because you're drawing with a mouse. Come on, how hard is it to draw with the mouse? It's really hard. So you're doing pretty well. Don't worry. That's more than good enough for now. There you go. That's all you need to do. With practice, you can do this better. But let me stop my screen and show you something.
Okay, thank you.
No, that's great. Let me show you something, you guys, that might help when you're making selections this way. Hold on. Let me click my choices. Here we go. Oops. I needed to put this over here again or it won't show it. Let me go back to Photoshop. No, there's Photoshop. Let me undo all this. I'm gonna undo all this for a second. All of my choices. Yep. Okay, so let me choose it. Notice that when I made my my tool smaller or bigger or whatever size I wanted it, when I started drawing, I didn't keep going. So I did this much, and then you can't tell, but I'm raising my mouse. Then I'm doing this little bit, and I'm raising my mouse. Then I'm doing this little bit, and then I'm raising my mouse. Why? Because if I now make a mistake, a Command Z gets rid of one little bit, or one little bit, or one little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Versus if I keep going and try to paint the whole thing, right? When I let go, if I do Command Z, the whole thing disappears. So then it's easier to try to fix it. But you already saw with Tatiana that fixing it isn't very easy. I would have to do that and then minus and start fixing and all that. So it's much easier if you start by painting it a little bit at a time, stop there, and then a little bit more at a time. Does that make sense what I mean? Just
Yes.
be a bit more controlled, a little bit at a time. And then if that one goes bad, it's like, oh, it's okay, Command Z. Let me try again. Oh, it went bad, Command Z. And then I only leave the good ones. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah.
Instead of having to fix so much, it's just do your selections in bits and pieces. All right. Now, I don't know if I've lost all my selections. So now I need to select mine again. So let me go ahead and select mine again. Which I am doing one full circle on this. Okay. Oops, that was a bad idea. Because since I closed it, it then filled in because it thinks that's what we want to do. Okay, so now I let go of my mouse. I'm coming over here. Anyway, don't want to spend a lot of time showing you how to select, but you can't tell, but I just lifted my mouse about 5 times. I keep going. It's a second. I lift it and then I keep going like I painted in waves. You know what I mean? So that if I were to do undo, 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 undo. Does that make sense? Anyway, I'm going to redo them. But that way I have much less corrections to make. Okay, anyway, so now let me go ahead and try to get the rest selected. There we go. Go over here. Gotta move this thing out of the way. Okay. Anyway, so just consider taking it. Now, sometimes you want to take a curve on because it might work. And if it didn't work, you undo and then you try it again. And it's much easier to do that than to fix. And yeah, you can fix a little bit here and there, but it's much easier to do it in bits and pieces. Okay. And now I'm gonna, and when I do this from home, I show you guys, I have a pen that I do this with instead of a mouse or a finger. So if you guys are doing Photoshop with your finger on the tablet, it's quite hard to do. If you're doing it with a mouse, it's a little bit easier. And then if you're doing it more professionally, and I have some here to show you, you could, if you really want to do this as a job, whoops, see, Command Z. There I made a mistake, so I'm going to Command Z. And that's the only thing that gets undone instead of everything. So do that again. Okay. So there we go. If you look at my history of selections for this eyeball, you can probably count. Look at how many times I clicked and stopped to select this guy. Got it? Instead of one big selection, it's like, I don't know, 40. I don't know how many. Okay. And I went too much. I would have to fix that there, but for now, I'm not going to bother fixing it too much. I want to move on to what I wanted to show you. Sorry. Because I don't want it to go over the white too much, and I went overboard. But never mind. Okay, I'm going to stop there for now. Okay. So a couple of different ways to give in this eye color. First thing that we're going to do is we want to try one of the adjustment layers. Now the adjustment layers, I've always been telling you to get them from here. Click over here, and here you have your adjustment layers, right? But look at the icon we're using. It's that circle that's half black, half white. The computer knows that the most logical thing is to use an adjustment layer. So it's given us that choice right here in our contextual taskbar. You see it? So if I were to click on the contextual taskbar, what happens over here is it gives me all my different single adjustments. And there we go. Those are the exact same things as these. Does that make sense? Whoops. I wasn't ready for that. Let me undo. Okay. So if you click on this icon there, it opens up the adjustment layers, but then you have to see less of your layers to see all the choices, or you can click over here and see all your choices. So I usually choose it from here. So let's try one of the versions. Let's try solid color. So everyone go and do adjustment layer, solid color. And then over here, this is going to look weird, but if I choose a color, it's going to be solid like its name says, right? So say that I choose blue or brown or yellow, whatever color you want to make this person's eyes, and I make them some kind of a green. And you're going to look at these and go, oh, none of this looks like an eye color. Never mind for now. Choose a color and then say, okay. All right. Now, let me just move this up again because I didn't need to see those adjustments. Now, this color fill is opaque, is solid. So we're going to blend it up here above our hue saturation layer. There's a little thing that says normal. You guys have that? So first of all, everyone needs to have chosen a solid color. Let me give a hand. Wow, can't believe it's so close to the end of class. Did you get the solid color chosen? Yeah, click on that and go up to solid color. Click on that and choose a color, any color. Red, green, blue, anything that you want. Ish. And then we'll, because this color that you're choosing right now, you need to go and choose, click on here. Yeah, but no, what you did was good. You got the color and then you chose, say, okay. All right, so I kind of did this in a hurry and I didn't show you too well how to do that. And I noticed by showing Sue, when you choose a color here on the left side, you get to choose what hue you want. So pinkish, bluish, whatever, you put it wherever you want it. And then you have to come in here and choose if you want it dark, light, green. So it's like two places. You choose over here, and then over here you click until you choose what tone you want of that color. But it's kind of meaningless right now to all of us because what we're going to see doesn't really make sense. So first we're going to give it a blend, then we're going to adjust the color to something that makes sense. Yes, Eric?
Sorry, I'm not seeing where the solid color is.
Okay, so it's called solid color up there in my choices. You need to have that.
Oh,
Do you
okay. I
have
was
this?
looking at the single adjustments up at the
Yeah,
top.
so in the single adjustments, I don't see the solid color either, which is like, why would this, it's so weird. I don't know why. They have all the rest
Okay,
of them, but they don't have solid color. I don't
I
know why they don't
see.
have solid color. So there we go.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay. Now what color you chose is relative because until we see how it blends, we won't know if we want to adjust it. The good news is we're going to adjust it easily by double clicking on this color and choosing a different version of it. But right now, don't bother choosing a different version of it. Let's first do some blend modes. So when you go over here where it says normal, there's a whole bunch of different blend modes. And depending on how you blend, basically this layer with that layer, you're going to get a different solution. So we're going to start by looking one by one-ish, so to say, at the different options of how it's going to work, right? And you might discover that some make more sense than others. Now, over here, I'm going to probably suggest that it's going to be overlay or soft light that might work the best. And when we do this, is where we're going to begin to go, oh, well, that doesn't make too much sense. Looks like we've selected too much, especially when color becomes purple or green. Because when you go and choose the color, so say that I go with soft light or something like that. Well, one thing is that most of the times, shoot, eyeballs aren't really one color. A lot of this would have different middle colors in there. But all of this edge that I remember I told you I'm going to have to select less. All of this edge is painting my gray areas green. That doesn't make sense. The color should end in the inside. So if this is the color that we kind of wanted, that's good. If not, we double click and we say, well, maybe I wanted a blue tone or a gray tone, or I wanted to make red eyes, or, you know, this is I wanted to make her cat eye looking. And so I've got a yellow color or something like that. But so say that I'm going to stick with some kind of green ish, then I might want to go a bit darker. Anyway, so you choose some kind of a color. Let me go. My mom had green eyes. Has. God, I hate that I said had. She's still alive. So I click on that. And now I go, okay, well, there's too much green on the edges. So we're going to do what we did before, which is fix my mask, because it's my mask that's going too far. Does that make sense? Who remembers how to fix a mask? How to paint a mask? First of all, choose
You choose black
a blend
or
up
white.
above where it says normal. Hold on. See where it says normal? Right there. Click on normal and then choose one of these. Overlay or soft light, probably. Mine is, I chose soft light on mine. It depends on the color you want. So guys, how do I fix a mask?
Use the paintbrush to color in black.
Brush, black or white. Exactly. So I choose my brush, which is the B for the shortcut, just to make sure that I get the right brush. That's the one. And then if I want to know whether I paint with black or white, I just look at the mask and I think, okay, I'm gonna let you do it. What color should I paint? If I want to get rid of some of this stuff that shouldn't be green on the outer edges, what color should I paint, with black or with white?
Black.
Yeah, black. I want to make that come in closer. So now I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that I have black with the X key. I can change that from black to white. I'm gonna change it to black. And then I'm gonna start going over that area to eliminate that color that makes it look kind of alien-ish, because it just wasn't right to have color on that edge, right? Now, I can't go too far, because if I go too far, then I lose the color. Then I can fix it by painting. Well, first of all, ideally, if I did a short, I can just do Command Z. But say that I went and did a really long thing, and then suddenly it went, oops. Then I go back to white and I add white again in the areas that I do want it. Okay. So then in the case of this eye, it's harder to add color than to change color. If this were a real eye with color, then it would have tones, right? It would have a little bit of brown, a little bit of blue, a little bit of green, like tones of green. So when you add one color, it's not necessarily that realistic, but you can add another color on top and then start streaking it a little bit. So I'm going to just invent that maybe what I need next, I'm going to add a new solid color without any selection. And I'm going to select maybe a little bit of a, I don't know, darker green or more like a brownish color. I don't know. I really would have to play around to see what color might match. And I'm going to say okay to that. But now I'm going to hide that entire color. It's too near to the old one. Go with a bit darker. I'm going to hide that color. How do I hide that entire color?
You invert it.
Invert it, because right now I'm seeing everything green. I invert it with a Command or Control I. And now I'm going to just start painting in with white little bits of that other green. Oh, I first need to, I'm going to do it the same soft overlay. And then I can begin to paint a little bit, see, a little bit of that dark. This is all I'm doing. These little tiny bits. I'm turning the other ones off so you can't see them. So I'm just putting little bits of that. Does that make sense? And I can do it with a thinner brush, a streak brush, but I'm just trying to bring some variation into this to make it a little bit more realistic. I could probably use other colors, would make a bit more sense. We'd have to look at a real eyeball, see how eyeballs looked, how the color comes in. I'm gonna see if maybe I can bring something a little bit bluish in there, some deep blue. I'm gonna keep using the same overlay tone. And maybe I bring a little bit of blue in there. No, it's not realistic. Eyes are green or they're brown. They're not green or blue, aren't they? I don't think they go blue. Maybe they go teal. A little bit of a tealish, deep teal tone. I don't know.
How do you again go from the whole solid color so you can see just the eye?
Okay. So let me just get rid of this one. I make a whole solid color without masking this time.
Okay.
Whole solid color.
Yeah.
Choose a color. I was going for some kind of a teal. Maybe that might work. Or a different tone of green there, something like that. I don't know. That.
Mm-hmm.
I say okay. But the whole thing is green. So in order to hide the whole green, I select my mask and I have to turn this whole thing into black.
Uh-huh.
Which I can do by grabbing a big brush and painting black everywhere, right? But it's going to take a long time. So the easiest way is to invert the mask. The shortcut is Command I. Or I could probably go down here and one of these might be invert. No, none of these are invert. So it's just Command I. If you go over here to the mask, one of the choices here is called invert, but it's easier to remember Command I because to know where to find this one is kind of hard. It's the invert, the mask. So that becomes black. So now if I turn all these off, I have no color, right? This, if I start making little white marks in it, right, it's going to start. So I need to have white, right? So if I have white ink, anything I paint is going to work. But that's solid color. So before that works, I need to first make that be an overlay. If overlay is what you choose. I think I had chosen soft light. I'm not remember which one I chose. And then maybe some of these can have it. And so now when I turn all the others on, I'm getting some more depth of different colors. Does that make sense? Let's see if I
You
can make
know,
this
I got
more
lost in one step. How
brownish.
do you get the brush to be white?
When I'm on a mask,
Uh-huh.
the brush is going to be either white or black down there. By
Yeah.
flipping that or the X key. Oh my God, it's 7:05.
Oh, okay, I got
I
it.
can't believe, guys, I'm sorry. This class always seems to finish too soon. It's shorter than the other one, and it drives me crazy that I leave you guys, that I have you guys later than you should. I'm always trying to be an on-time kind of person. But we're almost out of time. So now I'm adding a little bit of yellowish tone. See how it's beginning to look a little bit more realistic? Because eyes have variation. Green eyes have a little bit of yellow or brown. So I'm adding basically base green, drops of darker green, a little bit of yellowish tones, and they're all affecting in different ways. Now, all of it, by the way, is too much. Like it's too intense. So you could always bring the opacity down on all of them. So maybe the whole color here, I can go to the opacity and bring it down a little bit so it's not so real. But if I had, all I get underneath is gray. So in fact, that's probably about right. Maybe I need to come over here and darken it a little bit from there. That's a little bit more realistic. Anyway, you can keep adding tones. You can keep doing stuff, but this is one of the ways, because remember that I had told you that you can't change black or white with a hue saturation. Let me show you this in case you don't believe me. In this background, if I had put a hue saturation layer over here, no matter what color I tried to change, it makes zero difference because there's no color. Black and white don't change color. Does that make sense? So the hue saturation that we've been using is no good. That's why we had to use this other version, which is color fill. Okay, or solid color. For some reason, it's called solid color up here, but then this, instead of saying the same name, it says color fill. But then when you first put it on, it's solid. So then you have to choose some version of working over here to make it change. And I'm sure we've got some very funky eyes going on, and that would be really cool to see what eyes you can come up with. I'm going to save this Command or Control S. And we're going to go up here and turn it into a layered file. And I'm going to call this one Green Eyes. And I'm going to save. Now I have to say that at this point in time, I have a feeling that with the, not with the generative AI that we have right now, but with the new one that's in beta, we'll probably be selecting this and just saying, give me green eyes, and it'll probably do it on its own next time. Right now, we still don't have that feature, but very soon we will have that option. There's another choice, which is called selective color, where you change a color that's there into a different tone. But again, selective color wouldn't work because we started with no color. And right now, even though we have green, the green isn't what it's reading. It's reading not my fake colors, it's reading the original colors. And so selective color won't work because the original didn't have color, right? So all the other tools that say color in here wouldn't work. And there's a ton of them. Channel mixer, color lookup, because there was no color there. So the only way to bring color to something that has no color is to use this one. Does that make sense? Now there was one more option or chance over here, which was this thing called live paint and content aware, it'll fill pattern and stuff like that. So, but I don't think any of these, given that you have no color, would have worked. But let me just see if content aware might have thought of something. Probably won't. Yeah, no, it's just, ugh, that's scarier. So it didn't do anything to that. So yeah, I don't think there's any other options here that make sense other than the solid color. Okay. I haven't done my screenshots yet, so let me do a screenshot. And guys, it's 7:56, so we're 1 minute past the time. I would love it if you guys were to give it a try to put some of this stuff on an image that you might need to first turn into black and white to that paint. Oh, look at that. Purple eyes, Eric. That's a nice one. Yeah, that's nice. They're all good colors, guys. So I'm gonna post mine. But to say the truth, it's hard unless you're a real artist to paint a good eyeball. But if you were to have had a black and white photo with people dressed in black and white with this example, you can paint their clothes in a realistic fashion, right? Colorized the eyes by making a selection first using the selection tool brush. Then we chose an adjustment layer of solid color. And once we had a solid color of our choice, we had to blend that layer into the black and white layer below. I chose soft light blend mode. Then I added more solid colors to create variations of the green by inverting the mask and allowing only little bits of the alternative color to show through. Right. Is this the one? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So play around with that. It's not that easy to get a good looking eyeball, but if you guys go to any other black and white image, and again, this one here, he's wearing a white shirt and she's wearing a white dress and a bow, and we could not have colored this any other color because it's a black and white image. But if you try with solid color, you might be able to give her a light pink dress and it can have a little light blue shirt, you know what I mean? So give it a try with these tools and see if you can otherwise take any other image that you have, turn it into black and white with the adjustment layer, and then try to add some colors with it. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
And by the way, you can do that solid color to anything that's already colorful. So if you can stay just one extra quick second, because I also want to show you it's not necessarily only for black and whites. That's extreme. But if I go to bridge and choose, I don't know, something else, say this original one that had these citrus. Huh? I clicked on the citrus. Why did that one open up? I clicked on the citrus. There you go. If I were to do a solid color of, let me go again to something that's not here, red, for example, on this one, and I blend it in. There was a lot of red in these. Hold on, these had a lot of red already. Blue, for example. I don't know. And I blend it in one mode or another until I get something that I like. I don't know. Say that tone. I'm going to mask it all by inverting it, and then I can go in with my brush and bring it back in for the insides of this one, for example. Okay. So here I have a different color. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to have this color in there, but green. You basically can recolor other stuff too. It doesn't need to be black and white. You can recolor colors that are in existence. But you have to be careful. Here I'm gonna color the whole thing, right? To make it match in a way that works. So a pink t-shirt can be turned green. I don't happen to have that example. Blue t-shirt, etc., etc. So if I had pre-selected something that's really sharp, then I don't have, do I have a sharp selection? This started happening this session, that when I share, it doesn't, when I choose my bridge, it doesn't share itself. So if you guys need to leave, please leave. I'm just giving this extra little, say this jacket, whatever. This is a red jacket. So if I were to select this red, oh, it's a DNG, but anyway, so I had to, so say that I would have selected this red jacket, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and say, select subject. And let me just get rid of the face for a second in a very absurd manner because I'm just in a hurry. So there, no head, no face, and yes, jacket. Then I would choose a solid color. I want it to make it into a blue jacket. I'm gonna say okay. And then when I modify the overlay, this isn't working suddenly because it's a really into, so there we go. I choose my color and you're seeing the red, so that's why it doesn't look so normal, but then I can go in here and I can make it be a dark blue or green blue or whatever. Usually the very bright colors don't look so real. And I've got a red jacket. Had it been well selected, it would look more realistic to turn from red to blue. So the color fill choice is a good one for that too. But it had colors. I was able to change it with color versus black and white didn't have color. Okay. So anyway, here we go. That's it. I'm gonna go back here and choose my brush to try to fix that. But other than that, I have this makes it more real. If this were a good selection, it would look like I have, like I am wearing a blue jacket. It's just that I have a weird selection going over here with its shadow and stuff like that. But you might not even question that it's not a blue jacket, hadn't you seen it? If you hadn't seen that it was a red jacket to start with. Okay. All right. Have some fun with that. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday, and hopefully you guys will have a lot of different changed color images to show me. Okay. Maybe the green trees are yellowish because instead of being summer, it's autumn, you know, have some fun. Okay.
Okay,
See you
thank
guys
you.
on Wednesday. Hopefully you'll
See you
stay
on
dry overnight. It's going to be a bad storm.
Yeah.
Batten those hatches.
Oh my goodness.
Get
Bye
the
bye.
sandbags out. Yeah. Take care.
Get
Bye.
home before it rains.
What's that?
Get home before it rains.
Yeah. Yeah. We're heading out. Bye.
Bye bye.